Nope.
He's not. I reckon Misfits boxing, me versus you.
Nah. Dude, I don't have enough. I don't got enough in me to box. To be honest, like I just don't even have that energy. I would probably box an EA employee, like for monetary gain from my bank account. But aside from that, I don't think I would box anyone. Maybe one or two people in this community, but I won't tell you who. So what do you want to talk about? Actually, Nat, before you go, I think I know what you want to talk about. I think you want an actual, you probably, knowing you probably want an actual, like, understanding of what would be a general good idea for a plan.
Yeah, literally bang on.
Yeah.
Literally bang on.
Because I know how you work. You're very organized.
So I'll tell you, did you catch any of my stream this morning? Maybe you stayed away from watching content creators.
Zero.
Right. My plan would be create a... Look, first of all, we would need to understand what we actually want from EA. And I personally think that's an open line of communication to discuss the problems with them, because nobody's ever going to agree on what all of the problems are, right? So if we could just talk to them, if you was able to just ask EA the questions you wanted to ask and get the answers, even if you didn't like the answers, I think that would be a massive step, right? So I think, first of all, we need to understand what we want from EA and how we could have a good solution for that. But once you and I, whatever content creator wants to get involved has kind of already agreed on that principle, I would create a social media campaign for #boycott_EA. I would create a brand new YouTube channel. On that YouTube channel, have just one video, and in that video have the plan, the plan and the solution. And then any content creator that wants to get involved has #boycott_EA or !boycott_EA in their titles, in their descriptions for every video, every piece of content. They can push it on Twitter and say, hey guys, you're coming here to watch me, but we want to fight for a better game. Go and watch this piece of content because we want this to blow up, so that traditional media outlets get this, so that EA are aware of this, and so that we've got a concrete plan as a community for how to get what we want out of EA. That would be my plan.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Everything you said, I don't disagree with. I think I have what I've realized over the last 2 days in that, right? I think I have another level of hatred for EA than people, which I don't hold against people. Like I personally have, just from talking through, like, my community, by the way, they really like what you just said. They think you're cooking. Like, you just literally cooked so much the kitchen's on fire, which I think you're doing a smart idea with that plan. Number one thing I seen talking through with people is that, like, I think there's only two ways, which you probably watch, which is the media and then them to lose money. Like, yeah. I would, man, if there is a way where, like, every creator could be just, like, really hardo, like, just because, Nep, like, you know this too, because you're a dad, you're a businessman, you know all this. Like, you can't force people at the end of the day to not spend their money. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deal with, like, hey, I'm going to manage this guy's finances, or, like, it's my business, right? So, yeah, it's like, I think for me, that's where I've been struggling, because I think I have a lot of ideas here, but, like, I don't really have a full-on, I don't know what's the best way forward. And I'll tell you why I'm a little concerned with the way you've gone. I don't know if I want an open line of communication with EA. I think what I more want to do is piss them off so much to the point where they really have to make some changes that we're requesting. And I'm worried because I know the Call of Duty community has an open line with that company, and their game just shits the bed. But you think generally, if we could just get them to respond, like, and get some answers, even if we didn't like it, that would be a win. Which I mean, I kind of do agree. I just want to somehow get some.
The problem I have with what you suggest, Nick, is what if the change, like, what is the change you want them to make, right? So let me understand.
I'll tell you one like general change I want, like, entirely. Like, I can tell you one thing right now that I think is so bad with this game is ruining the game. And do you know what I'm going to tell you, or no?
Store packs.
It's actually gameplay related. My motive more is gameplay related, because I don't even want to play this game anymore.
The drop back AI, right?
Yeah. Like, I literally don't even know how to attack anymore because there's 11 players in the box at all.
And I wholeheartedly agree that that's a problem, right? But surely, like, we can see through the history of this game that when they fix one problem, two more pop up, right? So if they fix the drop back AI, what if, because of long ball pass and incisive pass plus, you can now just ping through balls over the top of somebody's defense 100 times a game, and now you're sitting there pissed off because your defense isn't tracking back?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with the fact that I think they do fuck up more than they fix. I don't even know the last time they've really fixed anything, because like
No,
we're
no,
all
I
still
agree with
sitting here
you.
with these broken things in this game. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
precisely. And so the thing
Yeah.
that I've been like preaching for over the last couple of years in gameplay terms is balance, right? We just need this game to be more balanced, right? Every time there's something that's crazy overpowered, the front post corner technique, balance it. What I never always like, it's real easy from our side to be like, yeah, just fucking fix that, just make a change so that it doesn't happen. But I remember when they put the aggression from kickoff up. Do you remember for like the first few seconds they'd change the aggression of the team that doesn't kick off? So because
Oh
you had a
yeah.
problem where the team was like standing still, and then what happened? The KSI kickoff glitch came back because the
Yeah.
team was too aggressive, and so it's like we can sit here and say we want them to change gameplay, but how, like there has to be like a
Nap,
how,
Nap.
like what is it you
Know
want?
what I've realized though this weekend that like I think I was out of touch with, right? And here's why. Like I saw your short yesterday. You think this is the best FIFA ever, right?
Mm-mm.
Was that a
No,
joke?
no. Like let me give you context of it.
I'm not even just talking about you, right? Because I seen a reply to where Fuji said, when this game is responsive, it's a good game. So this is nothing against you or Fuji. This is just, I guess I was in a different spot of how I viewed the game, right? So I can't, if my greatest critique here is that I don't want to play this drop back AI simulator anymore, right? That doesn't mean that other people resonate with the same feeling. So maybe
No,
all in
of course,
all
yeah.
we can do is everyone can just understand that, yeah, it's pretty fucked up that they're releasing $50 packs every day. Right, so maybe
No,
that's the only thing everyone
in
agrees
terms of
on.
gameplay, listen, I don't think this gameplay is great, right? That my so the short that you saw was like a 10-minute discussion cut down into a 1 minute short, right? What I think about this game is I don't think there's ever been so many tactics, formations, players and play styles that you can use and still
I
be
wrote a tweet out
very
a
successful
couple of days
playing
ago
this game
about
compared
how
to this
I
year.
know like there's
Right?
certain there's
Because
certain,
in
like, the
previous
gameplay
years,
is
if you
unbalanced
didn't
in certain
abide
regards.
by the meta, especially at like the elite level and the high champs finishes level, you would suffer. But I think this year you can play with, like, look how many different players we have had accessible to play with now because of Evos or because of all of these promos. There is so much diversity in the way you can play. So I think EA have done a good job. I think this is the best game we've had to allow people to actually be creative with who they use and how they use them. And that's why I said I think this is, and that's what you
That's
got
where
out
we
of
don't
that
see eye
short.
to eye, though, because I disagree. Because I think you have to use one or two formations and have to use even less players than 23 to be successful. Like I think there's only like 25 full animation meta players this year that you can really use. Otherwise, you're dying in
Right?
hell because
No,
you're too
no,
competitive
no.
and taking losses.
Right, I agree. Like I need to. I can't. I've closed my
But
tweet down.
I
Like,
kind of understand what you're saying because like I played against some guy with some random 99 in the Chinese league and he wasn't very good. But like you're kind of saying that there's so many players now that you can use in the game that
it's like this, right? Imagine like the meta gives you 100% output, right? Like what you're saying, like with like glitchy animations, your fucking Virgil van Dijk,
yeah.
aerial pluses. The meta is 100% of getting win success rate. I think in previous years, if you didn't use a meta, your success rate dropped down into the 50, 40, 30 percentile range. Not in terms of actual wins, but just in terms of the ability to play the game with these cards. Whereas I think this year it drops down into like the 90, 80% percentile range. You're not, if you're going to use, like I use the Arsenal Evo RTG, there's a couple of meta players in there, but they're not all meta. But I can still get my win rank that I would normally get, even if I had every glitchy player in the game, because they're good enough compared to previous years, even though they're not as good as the elite players. If you come up against that team of the season or team of the year Haaland, you might as well just back out because you're just going to lose, right? But I don't think the gap between the meta and the standard this year is as big as it has been in previous years.
Interesting. I mean,
And then
it's a good
Nick,
debate
I might
because
be
we're
wrong.
not yelling
I
at
might
each
be wrong.
other. It's okay if we disagree. It's like
Yeah,
on some
and
things.
I'm open to being wrong. Like sometimes I look back
No,
on
I
a
got it.
game cycle that I played and I hated it, and now I'm sitting here saying, man, I wish I had FIFA 19 gameplay back again. Even though during the moment of FIFA 19, I fucking hated it. Right?
Yeah. Nep, there's so many layers to that part that like I think we could go back and forth and talk about. But
Forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
I know, I hear you. I hear you. Um
So going back to the store pack thing, I think Orzio like spoke on it as well, but I had some like comments in my video from yesterday when I showed 6 p.m. content, and I personally, and it might be meaningless, it might be futile, but I will personally endeavor to just never go into the store pack section anymore. I'll still
dude,
obviously go to my
I'm with
packs
you,
to
man.
open, but I will never go into the store pack
But
section for
Nap,
the rest of the game.
this is what like just for you, just because I want to hear your perspective on it. Like I think that I feel like just what you said, because you said you've realized in the past like you've been wrong. Like, dude, I was wrong on Saturday. You know what I mean? Like I'm like I can't force people that are living check to check to stop playing, for a week or two. So I understood that, and I'm like, okay, I've adjusted what we probably should be doing, right? And that seems like now, from just hearing the community, the most sensible arrival we can at least start with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So like,
listen, I don't think you're like I've obviously you've created waves from that tweet, right? There's no denying it. It's been a roller coaster since you tweeted it. But I said it when every time I get asked it, I like 90% wholly agree with everything you had to say, and like we all especially the people that love this game, and it's almost hilarious because yesterday you listed off some creators that EA don't work with, and they're like the creators that love the game the fucking most. Do you know what I
no, that's
mean?
what I mean. That's including myself for sure.
Yeah, and so I don't disagree like with what you want. I just don't think that the way you wanted it was the way
I agree.
it
I
will work.
agree. And I also don't think, even if we do it all in a certain organized way and we really carry out something, I can't. I was saying this yesterday. I can't even guarantee that these guys are going to even give us the time of day, right? Like
Yeah, they might
because
not.
they
Yeah,
really might
listen,
not.
when you asked, like, my stream said you wanted to chat, I was literally in like some fucking heat of the passion moment talking about how I've been doing this for 15
No, you've been
years,
doing a double. I am
and
aware of
I've
that
been
you're my father.
bitching about this game for 15 years,
I know.
and it has never ever worked, never. And it gets disheartening. So, do you know what? Sometimes, man, it does beat you up to the point where you think, why even try? What's the point?
I know.
Because nothing's gonna work, you know.
I hear that, because that like, Nap, this is I just want you to understand, like, I know you are not feeling this, but this is what I have been dealing with, right? Because I put out this information, right? People say, "Oh, Nap, this is what's really frustrating for me about our community," right? And this is clearly not you, because we're having a conversation like two grown men and you're telling me, "Hey, I think this could happen. I think this would work," right? I say something out loud, right? People are like, "Oh, he's all talk. He's doing this for persona," right? I present a plan. I say, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm willing to do this." Maybe what I originally proposed was not what everyone was willing to do or able to do, correct? That's clearly what I've
Yeah.
learned from Saturday. Okay? Then the next day, what happens? We all decide together, okay, maybe we're going to do this instead. Then it's the right away. Can't, won't, never, no. I'm like, what are we even doing, though? That's why I'm just trying to convince people, like, let's just try to do something organized. And again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think these store packs or all this shit is going to move the needle for anyone anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think all of us are able in this community to gather views in individual ways. And if people were completely relying on, I need to open 15 store packs a day for my video on content, like, Nep, let's just be honest, it's lazy, right? You know that too as a creator, right? There's many creative avenues you can go in FIFA, even as bad and dog shit as the game is, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do on the game. So I think maybe that's going to be what we are going to be having to all come together, going forward. And Nep, I will be real with you, because I've learned this yesterday. I am not, well, I already knew this, but I am not able to control what everyone's going to do. So obviously, not every single person in the community is going to be able to follow with this. But here's what I know, right? EA, you know this probably even more than me. They f***ing hate bad media, dude. Like,
Yeah,
any,
it's true.
like, dude, when all those accounts got hacked and shit, dude, like, and as far as, like, I know that not everyone has the best ongoing relationship or respect with this guy Kurt, right? But like, the way that those guys had to respond when those situations were going on because of how it got captured in the media is really important for people to remember, right? So if we can get, Nep, I think you're a huge content creator, man. Like, regardless of,
I used to be. I don't really get the views these days.
but at the end of the day, how many YouTube views are you getting, right? And if you're posting whatever you're posting, that you're still gathering, dude. Like, that's what people don't understand. Even live streamers, dude, who get 1,000, 2,000 viewers, bro. It's not just those amount of viewers. The amount of people that are in and out of your stream all day. It's like 20,000 people, right? You have YouTube videos that get 50, 100,000 people, dude. If there's this understanding and this consistency of like, hey, man, don't do that shit anymore, and there's some sort of knife you can cut into EA where they're like, hey, we actually really want people to be able to do store packs. Maybe let's work on XYZ. I don't know. Did you watch I know I'm really rambling because this has been the story the last 2 days. Did you watch my video yesterday about the email I got from that guy? Did you get to see that?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of that? Did you think it was real?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it looked real to
Um,
me.
yeah, and I've had a lot of discussions with EA employees, like in private, like kind of like off the record discussions and stuff. And unfortunately, like some things are just really hard. And like in fact, like it's actually been quite open, where Bateson's talked about it a few times about draft. Like how draft's been the same thing every year.
Yeah,
It's
everything
because the
has.
guy who coded the draft didn't tell anyone about like how he made it or anything, so they don't know how to change it. So they basically either have to rebuild it, or somebody has to like crawl the code to learn everything that he's done to change anything, which is why it's always the same.
Net, but like, I I know, but what pisses me off is how much they make. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we know how much they make, dude. And it's as far as to say that like I don't think EA, and I'm not even trying to put like ideas into EA. They haven't even utilized everything that they probably could have. Like there's probably some
100%.
insane things. They probably, I'm not even be surprised if we see someone this summer like a 99 Evo and they're charging $50 for it, right? So there's all
Yeah, I
these things
expect
they
it. Yeah,
still can do to make millions and millions on this. I don't know.
they make they like I think like you know I think first of all I think evolutions could be a massive windfall for them, because I think people love the Evo side of things, and I think like they've been poor with them this year. I hear through the grapevine that they actually require a lot of like resources to make an evolution, which is why we don't have like more and more and more and more. But I think they can make a lot of money there. But I also think genuinely, especially now that they've got these brand deals and these partner deals with Nike and these companies, dude, if they just did a little bit of that Fortnite route of cosmetics,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to rely so heavy on the predatory store packs, because people would go and buy a fucking pair of a Nike kit or a pair of Nike boots for their player, or imagine your Ultimate Team card with a Nike overlay on it. People would they would go and buy it. They just would like Fortnite has already proved that concept, that people will spend money on shit. And so there's no need for them to continually go down the store pack route, and they can still make the money whilst making a much better game for us and a much better product for us if they monetize other areas of the game. And you ask yourself, well, why wouldn't they? Why haven't they? And it's because you're a smart guy as well, man. Like I know you've got a lot of interest in business and stuff. Would you change if you was EA?
No, no, that's what I'm saying. I would not change, but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But I'm saying the bottom line is we have to. There's gonna have to be somewhere to undercut them. That's what I don't understand. There's some guy in the chat saying like I'm struggling with the reality. I'm understanding the reality. We go day to day on the reality that EA could mess up 40 times and nothing will change. So I'm like, let's just see if there's a way we can kind of, undercut, sucker punch them a little. I don't really, I don't personally really agree with the whole narrative, like where like people are spewing that our community doesn't control some of the finances and successes they're having. I don't know if I agree with that. I understand that there is a way higher percentage probably that play this game casually, Nep, but like I do think
Yeah.
at the end of the day we do have, but you know what? We could all be pessimists in this situation, and there's nothing really comes out of this change in that, but I haven't seen so many limited amounts of gameplay fixes, so much limited amounts of effort, as I have this year into whatever we could talk about, whatever fetish you have on FIFA it may be. Is it the menus? Is it the market? Is it the gameplay? Right? To the majority of it, all of it is broken. If we were to put out a sportsbook betting odds, right, on Nick Run the Foot Market stream today, and how many times, if he is going around the menus, he is going to have to reset his game, I am sure in a 6-hour stream, the over-under would be 20 and a half, dude. I genuinely
It's
sit
killer.
here, but that's a shame, man, because it's like, these are such simple things that it frustrates me, because I never counted on EA to be a company to make a good football game or a competent game. But these are things we used to have, right? They were okay and like working. So it's like, I agree with you. I think a part of all this shit is all like the insanity of stuff they're starting to add to this game, right? I think a lot of shit went downhill when they started the whole crossplay, which was that this year, where
Yep.
everyone's PC's on fire. I think all
Yep.
these new animations have really ruined the game a lot with what's registering and not. Here, I'm gonna add 28T because he wants to talk. He wants to, and is that
Yeah.
okay? I just didn't want to
Yeah,
interrupt you.
100%, yeah. No, that's good.
I was
Yeah, so what are we going on about what's the problems with the game, how to make it better? My chat, as always with every chat, is just all over the place. So I don't even know
Yeah.
what's happening.
No, I think we were just discussing like just steps forward. Like Nep was saying, like he's not even going to showcase. Nick, I saw your tweet last night. Like I think I agreed with most of what you said. The quote
Yeah.
tweet, because I dropped it a favorite. Let me pull it up here because I think like people. there's people in my chat that are saying like I'm not being realistic, and like the realism of all of this is that it's probably not going to work, right? So I understand for all the pessimistic people in the chats and everything, you know, you guys, you're probably right. I understand what you guys are coming from, and how, you know, you guys, Nick and Nep in this chat, like you guys have been playing this game almost, again, as I said, probably double the amount I have been here. I'm definitely like not new in this community anymore, but we know how EA are. We know they're not going to change a lot of the time because, and Nep said it, like business is business, right? These guys are making more than ever per user, but that's important for me because I'm like, it's not actually this insanely exponential growing players anymore like it used to be, right? Actively. So it is a lot more money per user. So I'm like, okay, if we could just see if we can, as a community, get everyone to just cut down maybe for the rest of the summer on money per user. Was this, let me see. Yeah, so I think what you said here is that we cannot get the community to quit. I fully, even Saturday, was like, yeah, that's going to be impossible. As much as I would want to, I think it's impossible. Too many people depend on it for income. I totally agree. I think this is like, you know, I already saw Foot Scoreboard today saying they're not doing it, you know, like they're not even going to post the updated store packs anymore, which is great. Like, I think that's
beautiful.
Yeah. Like stuff like that is like, you know, I know, you know, Flippin', like I'm going to reach out to them too, because I know they're posting videos about, you know, they're trying out.
Dude, I've been wanting to tweet them constantly, like, bros, we got to move away from these tweets
like,
of you opening these big packs every day. Like,
can't do that anymore.
Influence.
And then, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think what's really funny too, like just even you talking about the pre-order situation, like, I don't know about what you two think. Like, did you guys watch the trailer or any of that last year and get like anywhere excited? Like, I thought the marketing for this game was horrible this year.
I almost think they've been right. I think it's just like we've all, what has it been, 15 years or at least 10 years of them overhyping everything in August. They go radio silent for 11 months, and then in August they're everybody's best friend, telling us all these big changes. And I think it's just been so long where no one believes it anymore. It's like, all right, guys, we'll wait until September now and see what your hype is, because all this marketing mumbo jumbo in July and August is just BS.
Well, let's be objective here, right? Because like, yeah, again, let's not cater to the people that are like, okay, these guys are cringe, nothing's going to happen, right? Let's figure out what. So I think going forward, just everyone, not even just not showing the store packs. I think when like people are asking, reminding them, like, just, man, get the fuck away from it, right? Because I think that alone is bad enough media for EA to be like, all right, maybe we have to wake up and realize that, look, at the end of the day, all three of us in this call want to sit here and say, hey, spend money on this game because it's great, right? Spend money on this game because it's worth it. Like, as a gamer, that's what you want to do, right? But it's not in the spot where it deserves it at all. And it's not even like it doesn't deserve it. There's not even been, bro, any effort. That's what's driving me insane this year. The effort, bro, is the smallest I have ever seen from these guys. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even give a shit that you... Guys, I talk about it all the time, whether it was Zombieland during Team of the Year. You know, this game, I realized on the first 10 minutes of playing it this year, I'm like, I hate it, right? And so let's get gameplay aside. When I'm covering content in the first week, and Nep, you're in Division 6, I'm in Division 5, 28, you're in Division 5, Division 7, right? And they're putting a gold players pack, bro, for 20 wins in the Elite Division in week 1. So that's where I'm like, these guys are so out of touch. Guys, we can't even use the transfer market. We can't even use the transfer market. We have to go into the squad to buy players. Like, this is the level of effort they have invested this year. And where's the invested effort, right? It's into the store. So let's just collectively try and see if that puts a jab. That's all. If we want an actual plan, that's probably the best, right?
Well,
and
I think that's the toughest part, is we have so many fractured topics that we have to worry through, right? It's like EA just have us all infighting and we never get anything done. I mean, even just the performance-based rewards, like just shifting champs, this is now going somewhere else. I'd love to cycle back to like the buying and not buying of the game or quitting the game, but just to make a point of what you said a bit earlier is, how about champs, man? How is it that still in a performance-based mode, someone in getting 9 wins or 11 wins has the same roulette chance as a guy going 19 wins? That stuff is insane. Little things like that, even if they fixed gameplay, like the reward structure, even for their most competitive mode, isn't really there. Like, at least make a minimum for 19 wins. Make it, 93 and up reds or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let the guys that are good at the
one
game.
of them, right? Even if
exactly.
We used to have the player picks where you was guaranteed one Premier League team of the season to show. Yep. Now that was always someone that was shit, but Nick, when you was speaking on the stream the other day about how many people people had when the rewards were good, right? And how people love to watch the game when the rewards are good.
Dude, 11,500 viewers
but
on
that's
month
crazy.
9 at 9 p.m. I'm playing because of the
problem
rewards.
is that novelty wears off very quickly, because when the rewards are always good, they're not good, right? If you're guaranteed like the best players all the time, that's fun for the first week or the first time it happens. But then the next week it's like, well, I know what he's going to get, and I know he's picking up, Vinny Jr. and Bellingham next week. So
You
what's
need
the point
that
of
sweet
watching?
spot.
Yeah,
you need that sweet
Well,
spot. Or
well-
the rank 2 guys, the rank 2 and the rank. So Nick, when you get rank 1, you should be getting 25,000 people watching you open that. But at least for the last few years, you don't see a shift up of you going rank 1 or me bottling and going rank 3.
Right, but
because people kind of know it's like a roulette, right?
I know, but I think the roulette is so poor. You know what I mean? So my take on it was Nep, I disagree, because I look at it like this. Okay, let's say I get rank 1. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios, rank 1 and rank 5, right? I got rank 1 on Friday, right? I didn't get rank 1, sorry. I got 11 wins, but I opened 3 rank 1 rewards, right? I believe out of the 3, only 1 got Mbappe, and I think 2 or 3 of them got Dembele, right? That's where I'm like, okay, let's even say that insanity of a wait on Friday, as good as that system was, let's say it's even like halved, right? That is even such a better excitement system, but still a balance, right? And the best part about it was like the people in my chat that were getting rank 5, 1 or 2 guys out of like 7 got an Mbappe, right? And so let's just say it's even half. I still think it's very exciting. You look through like team of the season, then the next week you're not guaranteed a Jude, but if you get a better finish, you're very excited to potentially have a good chance. And I think
I agree with that outlook. Yeah,
like I think we look back and that's like
much better.
Like just not even that, because I feel like we're all doing really well to not interrupt here. Like it's great, it's good conversation. Like just to add, remember, dude, Nep used to be like the #1 guy for those monthly videos, man. Like millions of views. People want to watch you open those damn rewards because people, right, Nep, you could be like, you sitting there like, oh man, he got fucking shafted, right? Because one guy didn't get something crazy. But for the most part, when you watch those videos, people getting like a crazy De Bruyne red, a crazy De Gea. Was the icon always stinky? Yeah, but it's exciting, you know what I mean? Because people really were like, oh wow, there's a good chance. So I think we've just gotten to the point now where all of it is so repetitive and boring, right? EA they made a good changes here, in my opinion, with the rivals with the rating plus thing. You know how those packs are a lot better, right?
Yeah.
But
Rivals
it's
is
all
pretty nice,
still
actually.
feeling like it's fodder, right? Because of how incredibly challenging they've made it, where every creator I have seen has really agreed with, like, man, it's really hard to get good players unless you enter the store. So that seems to be, I don't know, whatever other tangents you guys want to talk about, because I know. And Nep, I don't disagree with you with your thought, because I am not an idiot. I understand. I'm not saying you're calling me an idiot, just for people to chat. I understand. A part of this is fun to still get the little gamble, but the problem is now we've moved in the last couple of years where the gamble is so incredibly impossible to get.
But the reason why they've made it impossible to get is because you can now get like 1,000 attempts at the gamble pack a week instead of 10, right? You could now, with the exchange and with all the SBCs and with all the rewards, like if you even played the game now, if you just log on any given day and play 5 or 6 games, you'll be met with a whole bunch of 83x2s, and you got the 83x10s every day, 3 times a day.
They've given us a lot without giving us a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
They give us so many packs to open, and of course they do that because where do you have to go to open a pack? You have to go to the store, right? So they constantly want you to play a game and get a pack to take you to the store. They constantly want you to go up a division and get a pack because it takes you to the store. So the fact that the reason why it's harder to have that little like good gamble chance, and I think Foot Champs Reward should be an anomaly to this, but it's not, is because it's so easy to get a shot at the wheel, right? And that's what like a big part of the problem is. But with Foot Champs Rewards, or even Rivals Rewards and Squad Battles Rewards, like we've gone from, Foot Champs Rewards used to be significant to all of a sudden they are now insignificant to like a high degree.
Yeah.
We're not asking for them to be like they were on Friday night, where everyone's getting a Dembele and Zaire Emery, but there needs to be a middle ground there. There needs to be a balance where it's like, okay, I've hit rank 1, amazing. I've got a very good chance of getting a top player. I've hit rank 5 because I'm share the game and I can, struggle to get 14 wins. I've still got a chance. I've got a chance at one of these players, rather than looking at going, man, I really hope I get like one of those mid-tier players that pop reasonable amount, because you've got no chance of like the top player, like it's so unheard of.
Yeah.
But how do you? This is why this takes me back to everything that I was saying to my stream earlier. Nick, right? It's like, how do you get to have that discussion with them? And it's about having an open line of communication. It's about being able to ask EA, guys, why can't we get anything out of these packs? Like, my community is demanding an answer. My community wants an answer. They just want to know, like, from your perspective, why can't we give them like better drop weight out of these reds?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everyone's going to hate me for saying this too, but then this brings the next discussion up where I genuinely agree that there is a disparity in like the good versus bad rewards, but then we also got to understand the longevity of the game, where I think a lot of us realize as well, this game is too easy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is. It's way too easy. Yeah.
So how do they balance that, right? Like, I agree, the hype that we got on Friday, dude, I was done my day and I was still watching you guys all opening those picks and stuff. So the hype is a big thing, but then we have the other side of where it's too easy as well. So how do they balance it? The thing is sometimes I want to play the devil's advocate because I know EA are the enemy and they're evil and whatever, and I'm fully behind that. But if I were to be in their shoes, I'd look at this and be like, okay, but so what do people want? 2018 and Nep are half the time saying this game is too damn easy, but then 2018 and Nep are also fully in agreement that we're jerk-offs for changing the drop weight of Mbappe and whatever. So how do they balance that? I think the balance comes in the lower rewards aren't amazing, and you tier up the chance of getting better rewards as you go to rank 3, rank 2, rank 1, because that way I think it should be balanced, right? You get a good finish, you have a way better chance at getting something dope.
I think the issue isn't necessarily the reward structure in one particular game mode, but it's the imbalance across the game and how there's no like symbiotic relationships with anything. You know what I mean? Like that they like you could play champs and then you could get better. They might do that thing where sometimes they put out like a bonus thing for the draft and you get like an insane amount of packs where it's like, well, damn, I'd rather just go and get 10 wins at the draft at my leisure and get all these insane packs instead of playing champs. So like they don't have balance. Like they never consider the impact of a game mode or a reward set and how it influences other game modes and other reward sets on like a day-to-day or week-to-week like basis. And so they overall need balance and structure with their whole game. But I don't think they have it because I think a lot of what they do is kind of like on the fly. I don't think we were supposed to have as many Evos as we have this year, but because they started doing well, EA started making more. And so it's like when they don't even know the direction of their own game and tell it like they're very they're very reactionary rather than like proactive about how they treat this game. And because of that, I don't think there'll ever be balance.
Yeah. Well, we can see the massive imbalance or their inability to balance things because like the top tier players are extinct for 15 million. So again, how do you get the best players to not be completely out of the reach of someone that's willing to grind the game infinitely? Because on an RTG or trading, you can grind the game like crazy. You're still, unless you're, Nicky's ability where you can trade like crazy to get up there. How do you get those 15 million to get those? You dump it into the store, but that also is unbalanced now too. I don't even think they know how to, like, we're trying to talk about how to balance the game. I don't even think EA know really how to balance the game to get away from those extinct, impossible to achieve cards. Yeah. Genuinely.
Yeah. I think that's, Nick? No, I think all that stuff, I think all that stuff is really, really fair. No, I just put that comment on the screen because that guy, but also because a lot of us, like, these guys, like, the general plan, guys, to try to get some communication here is just we're all in on promoting like don't spend money, right? That's really what everyone's going for. But we're just I think what we're doing is flattening out some of the also larger issues with just kind of going forward. Just
how do we feel about quitting the game? What was the end consensus of all of that? Because the last couple of days has been crazy in terms.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be possible. A lot of people.
Right.
I'm all in, dude. I'm all in. Like, I stand on business, but as I was talking about this yesterday, like, I don't think me just quitting obviously is going to be enough. And you guys may have a different opinion, but I was giving you examples of, like, the situation where, let's say, Castro has 20 to 30,000 viewers, right? And no one even gets close to that now, and he quit, and, nothing came of that, right? Like, okay, a huge creator quit, and did we get a better FIFA because they wanted Castro to come back and play? No. This is the worst game, in my opinion, of all time. You guys may feel differently. I don't care. I respect both of you, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. So Kurt career changes for as controversial as he is, right? And is now working on another video game and can never play this game again because of what he did, right? Did anything change from that situation? Again, no, it's mostly gone downhill since the time. So if I quit the game alone, I don't see that. I'm not influential enough. I'm not like a fucking Kai Cenat or XQC that's going to be getting New York Times articles on not playing FC24, right? It's just not the level of what it is. So I'm looking at it from that perspective of like, it's dumb for me to just abandon, but I mean, I think that if we can,
EA fucked it, dude. Like the silencing people like Kurt, whatever, like people's disagreements or his, you know, his disagreements of me or me and him having.
No,
whatever,
I know.
It doesn't matter. It's silly that they silence someone like that. Like Kurt was
It's
a
stupid,
huge voice
bro.
in the game, and all they've done is made their game worse by silencing someone like him or refusing someone like him to play. You got to have everybody's opinions to let this game get better and improve.
With Kurt's experience now, Nick, in making a football game,
right.
Wouldn't it be prudent to make a video with him discussing, because he now has a perspective from EA side, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think it would be a good conversation to have with him about the troubles and the struggles that they have making a competent football game?
He'd be such an asset. He's so well spoken. Like, again, people can have their opinions on anyone, but he knows what he's talking about in a lot of different ways. So why wouldn't you have someone like that to bounce ideas off of? Again, EA are so, I don't know what it is. Like they're egotistical or whatever the higher ups, their C-suite executives are, where they just can't let their one opinion go and allow for more open discussion and stuff. It's silly, man.
Yeah.
Because this game is hurting. It really is.
It's really hurting. And like,
gameplay side, man.
dude, a lot of this, man, has stemmed from the fact that like I'm really struggling, and it's not like a selfish situation. I'm just really struggling to even play it anymore because of where it is. So it's like I'm obviously disappointed that so many creators got hate, and obviously I'm like situationally aware that if I speak out about something, it's most likely going to annoy the fuck out of every creator in their communities for like a week because it's just what it is. So I'm sorry that, you know, obviously people got some hate for it, but I think at the end of the day, I would hope that people understand the perspective. Like, I am trying my best here because I'm trying to look out so that everyone in the future can eat, because I feel like in a way, outside of a couple exceptions in this game, most people's views are dying consistently, right? And they have been throughout the big year this year. I mean, it's not been like, we've never had that experience this year where the game was, I just, you know, it's felt like such a different, I mean, and it is a different FIFA. It's not FIFA anymore, right? It's FC, which is like their own tangent now, but I think it's like, it's one of those where at the end of the day, I hope that if people, Nick, whether people like you or not, whether people like Nep or not, whether people like me or not, right? Because all three of us in this call have people that do not like us, do not respect us, do not fuck with us, think we're cringe, think we're annoying, don't shut up, always complain, all of these things, right? And it's
that's
all
okay, dude.
That's okay. That's okay. But can people wake up and get their heads out of their ass about the creators that are crying and realize that at the end of the day, all three of us want to play this game and want to have fun. So a lot of this is because it's getting to the point where it's seemingly, right, getting a little out of control with where the energy from the company is being invested in my opinion, right? Because it's so what's the actual plan outside of all of us having, I think the three of us, if we wanted to do a 24-hour stream for charity collectively, it would be the easiest 24 hours of our existence being able to talk about what is wrong with this game. I think we would actually request another day to continue talking about everything we didn't have the chance to talk about in those 24 hours. That is how wrong and broken this game is to the core. We all could name thousands of glitches, right? But at the end of the day, how do we start to get the communication, the attention? Maybe EA have a little bit too much of, every creator kind of just saying, don't spend money, don't spend money, don't spend money. And then there's this real stigma against spending money on this game. It's almost like a pressure cooker where like, hey man, don't be that guy. I don't know. It's like peer pressure with like anything. So that's the only realistic, if I'm being realistic here, maybe situation. I don't know what you two think about, because I'm waffling here, so I want to give you guys a chance to talk. I don't know what you guys think about petitions. Like we've had so many of those over the years that I just don't feel like they really work. Do you?
Like, I don't think petitions work,
no. I think we need like Nep was saying, I think we need an actual talking person at EA to relay communication to, right? And if anything, we need maybe to be more organized and come up with like a bunch of different points that your communities want addressed, and then we can talk to someone at EA about it. But it has to be a public conversation. It has to be like on your stream, Nick, or on Nep's stream or something, where you have formulated points and then we can kind of go through them, right? But I don't know, again, is anyone at EA or their devs willing to sit down and have an open conversation so we can see what's going on? Like, hey guys, what's happened in these last 2 weeks? Why are the servers a mess? Like, the servers are bad always, but can we just get an understanding so all of our chats just don't constantly call you guys dickheads and morons and whatever? If it's something like, oh, we had an Apex tournament and our servers all are shared and it kind of glitched out the servers. Yeah, that's still absolutely shit that it ruins Ultimate Team servers, but at least we have an answer. Like, at least we know what's going on. Like, open communication will get them a bit of hate, but at least it'll give us an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the EA Direct, whether people realize it or not, is just like, it's just done out of like, standard company cover.
Oh yeah, it's
they don't care about telling you anything, and if their posts are not evident, guys, it's like it's concerning you don't see that, because it's not real. It's it's like, it's, I mean, and it's really, like, obviously it's really filtered, but I think, like, it's super showing as well, like, where, like, their pro chats, when stuff is going on, they're just constantly timing people out, right? Like, it's tough, man. They're a very hard company to get through to, like, from what I hear, even the people in the creator network. I think this is the frustrating part, because you two are not in the creator network. Like, those people are really also, like, situationally frustrated with this, right? And here's why: because they get a label, right? And I do think they hold back at times. I really do, guys. I think there's times where there's certain people that are connected to EA that need to fucking step up that don't, because of the label. However, at the same time, those people are all equally frustrated because they've put a label on their brand of I am connected with EA, right? And at the same time, they're in Discords with EA, they talk to EA, and EA don't give a fuck about them. They don't listen to anything these guys say. These guys ask for things, they don't listen to anything. So, to be honest, being affiliated with EA now is a lose-lose, because you lose the community respect, and you don't have anything from EA. They just go in one ear, out the other. So, at the end of the day, you're just an antenna in the community, which is, it's frustrating, man, because it's like,
I don't get how these big guys would go to these EA sponsored stuff. Like, the way I love him, he's one of my best friends, but like, I wish someone of the big guys would say, okay, EA, I'm willing to put sponsored by EA, but I bring as much to you as you bring to me. So if you want me at this event and whatnot, like, imagine, and maybe Castro and maybe Bateson and maybe others have done that, but how amazing would it be is if they said that and then said, okay, I am going to come to these events. I'll happily be participating in an EA sponsored thing, but I need to have a conversation with you guys about this issue, about why our goalkeeper Evo's not a thing still. Why are, why our champ rewards completely aren't, like, we need the guys that are working within EA to understand that they have huge value. It's not a one-way thing. I think a lot of the big guys are scared to say stuff to EA.
The guys that I've spoken to that are in the creator program, and AJ, who's in the stream now as well, iterates exactly what they said. Do you honestly, hand on heart, think I haven't said all of this to them, is what he says. And I have had some conversations with, like, Bates and with a few of the other, like, big guys in the creator program. And it's that, like, they tell me, and I'm not putting words in people's mouths, I'm not saying Bateson said this either, I'm not trying to get him in any hot water or anything, but they're like, it's like trying to draw blood from a stone, even as a game changer, trying to get a response from EA. I think Matt might have even left the creator program because they just wouldn't respond.
No, I think Skills did too.
And there you go. And so that speaks volumes that even if you're in EA's good grace and in EA's good books, you still can't get a response for issues that you might have with the game. And now these guys can't exactly go out and say, hey guys, I've asked EA, and they won't say anything, because, like you say, Nick, they're just going to get the whole, because if you're in, like, the Game Changer program and you say to your audience, guys, I asked EA about these red picks and they didn't respond, what do you think the response of their community is actually going to be? Oh yeah, of course you asked them. Oh yeah, of course you did. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they just can't win, like, no matter what, right? They can't win either way.
But then they need to balls up.
That's what I mean. That's the problem, though.
They need to get out, dude. Like Bateson or whoever else is still in that program is Zway. He's bigger and brings more to that program than that program gives Zway. Zway needs 100%. To see that and be like, I'm out, man. If you guys aren't going to be willing to have an open conversation that I can then take to my community, what is the point of me being sponsored by EA if I can't give my own people an inside look, or the rest of the community an inside look of what EA is thinking about? If you're just going to send me to these events, like Nick said, it just makes me look bad. I look like an EA shill when going to these events, because what do I get, a week of the game early? Like, who cares? Sway's way bigger than that. He doesn't need to play the game for a week early. Like, he should just bail. That's, we're talking about everyone should quit the game. I mean, really, all the content creators should bail out of the EA program. What really, other than
No, but
making the
what are they?
community dislike them? What
no,
are they
but
getting? What's the
but
advantage?
Nick, I know, because they're not even making money off the program. It doesn't do anything for them. And what it does for EA is way more than what they're providing for EA. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like a safe zone in EA's eyes, right?
Right.
That no matter what crazy shit I say, no matter what crazy shit you say, no matter what crazy shit Nep says, ultimately there's never going to be an ultimate consensus in the community against the company, because it's an antenna situation, in my opinion. And that's no hate, because a lot of these creators I fucking love. I think they're nice guys. Like, I have nothing against these guys, but it's more about, if we're gonna get something out of these guys to respond, it's gonna have to be everybody. Like, that's what I've been explaining to people, though. I am not enough, and I'm clearly not enough. And by the way, with both of you guys too, and like, for me, I mean, I would say in individual different times in all of our careers, we've been insanely critical of these guys, right? And none of us have ever been banned, right? Outside of, like, we're getting hacked by people stealing our coins or whatever, and then our accounts getting banned, but that's a different story. So I don't know, man. Like, I think our initial sentiment of, like, this closeout with the store stuff is good. It's a whole other monster if we're gonna be realistic, right? With the community, because we can't expect the entire community to, like, not buy FC25, right, or stuff like that. So it's like this
exactly.
It's like this happy, like, medium for us, where we're like, how do we really? Nep have probably, if we're being ultimately realistic here, Nep has it way more realistic than me. I think what we can do is and for me, it's never gonna be good enough, because I hate these guys to the core. I hate them so much, right? So I think it's like, we just try to get the really bad narrative on spending money, right? And we try to somehow get more of a line of communication publicly to the community's needs than the fucking EA Direct program. Sorry for cursing so much. I'm gonna stop cursing. But I think that's realistic, like, what could actually come of it, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
That I can't see.
Realistic, brother, I genuinely think is a full boycott of, I've been trying to say this for a while, but like a full boycott, not just of FC point buying. That's a given.
Yes.
A boycott of FC point buying from day one. Dude, this company barely deserves our $100 every September for the new game. It's a copy and pasted game every year. It's a microtransaction funded $1 billion a year game. This game should be free to play year to year.
It should, with how bad it is.
But it's not going to be that. So at the very least, I think the max they should hope to get from us is a yearly purchase of the game. And I dare I say, for getting even more hate, would say that for the $100 through the year, we all get enough content. Like 12 months out of the year, most of us will still be chipping away at this game and playing. I think $100 a year is fair for the purchase of the game. I don't agree with it, but I think that's fair enough. But the microtransactions are outrageous. So the one thing I think we can do as a community is just move away completely from FC points. Completely. I don't want someone coming in my chat and saying, oh, but Nick, this is only 500 FC points and I get 2 guaranteed icons. Suck my ass. Stay the hell away from that. But furthermore, I would love to see just the promo pack section not even touched. EA have made that a content, dude. Now the promo pack section is 6 p.m. content. People, instead of going to SBCs, are going to the goddamn store to see what the 6 p.m. content is.
It's shameful.
Through that, no more promo pack section. Like, no one, that should be a black hole that is just ignored, man. That EA's content can just sink into and no one ever looks. Dude, the drop off of clicking into that section from now until the start of FC25 might actually make a change. That might get the C-suite executives at EA to be like, what has happened since like May in all the way to September? No one's in the promo section anymore. No one's spending coins or FC points. What's happened? That will actually get
the thing that takes, though, is not only like, because I think Ozio's said he won't open like store packs with FIFA points anymore. I've, from some comments on my videos, I will now endeavor to never go into the promo pack section again.
Yeah, but Nap, before you keep going, do you want to do that? Like, is that something you want to do, or you feel like you're getting bullied into it?
Like what you said earlier, right? It was lazy content. Listen, I want a better game. I think everyone wants a better game, just in general. But I do want a better game, and where I was going was like, it's all well and good to not look at the store pack section for a couple of days or for a week whilst this is fresh in people's mind and people are like hyped up and there's a lot of noise. But what about in a month's time or 2 months'
Exactly.
time? It's going to require the people that are interested. I know Boras spoke on it. Us three in here, fine. Like, there needs to be that constant reminder of don't do it, like in a month's
Yeah.
time, because if you only do it for a few weeks, it's futile. Like, it's showmanship at that point. It's like, oh yeah, look at me, I did it, but then I went back into the store because nothing changed. It has to be long enough for it to actually become significant to the point where EA will notice, and it has to be a constant reminder to creators and viewers alike, guys, we're making a conscious effort to not go
Yeah.
into this part of the game so
Yeah.
that they notice. And if they don't notice after week 1 or month 1, that doesn't mean it's not working. We still have to make a conscious effort to not do it.
Exactly.
And you'll then know really by like FC25, did anything change? Did something happen in the meantime? Because and if it hasn't by then, okay, you might as well just like go back to whatever you was doing. But if it has changed, even if it's something small, like at least it's something.
Okay, so can I add on that? Like, I genuinely think if we can be strong and just avoid the promo pack section, as in don't buy any of those packs in there, not even with coins, nothing, right?
Yeah.
FC points, etc. But can we take that momentum from now, almost as a practice run, till September? FC25 drops. What is everybody, even the casuals, even everyone in your chat, right? The guys, the college students, the guys that have a job or whatever. What's everyone's overall thought process of spending FC points? Everyone thinks it sucks, but I guarantee you most people think when is a good time or when is a favorable time or when is a respectable time to drop points? Launch of the game, right? A couple $100, I get myself started. Fuck all that. We should be taking this all the way to the launch of FC25. And once FC25 hits, that's when we make the big push. Okay, guys, we're continuing this boycott. This is now the launch of the game. Even if the game feels good,
I like it,
for the
man.
first month, man, stay away from FC points. The whole community, wait until December before you start dropping points. We can all play this game for free anyways. You watch NEP to find out what things to do. You watch, Run the FUT Market to find out what trades to do to try and build up your coins. Don't spend a dime through the launch month, October of FC25. If we can do that, that will start really making EA quick.
And it's also going to depend on the viewers as well. Like, obviously all of us are more than capable of being held accountable. Like, we all know how to come up to the show and do it, but it's going to be up to everyone else, man, to like follow along. And
dude,
I think
for change, man.
I know, but I think it starts somewhere, which is this is a good start, and it's like if we continue with this trend and we're just not getting any form of anything, right? And no one's reaching out. No one's like, because at the end of the day, EA would be stupid to neglect what's going on, because at the end of the day, they don't want this going on in the community, right? Because they obviously want to make more money. So I think all of us would be happy if we actually just got a line of communication, some actual effort into some of the flaws in the game. And at that point, it's like, maybe we'd be less critical of it. And I'm wondering to an extent where if we continue with this and stuff and stuff isn't, it's like, some of that original crazy stuff I proposed, right, that I've gone back on, right? It's like maybe then that's the time, after X amount of time where it's like we're still not getting shit. Okay, then it's like, EA, how do you like this bad media when the entirety of the streamers are like, pulling up to the fucking stream on a weekend league or a promo day with black screens over their content, right? And titles and hashtags, and then the outlets are covering it. It's like that's an eventual last resort. I don't know, that's kind of more realistically what we can probably get out of all of this. And I definitely agree with your sentiment. I don't know, like I had seen a viewer in here who was like, it's not a terrible idea about like even having, streamers have like sort of different banners or stuff popping up in the streams, like, or the videos, just kind of saying like, don't spend your money. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, it's a problem because like there's always gonna be that counter that it's none of our business or anyone in this call's business to control how a viewer or a person wants to spend their however they earned it, finances, right, in life. It's not any of our duties or businesses. But on the other side of that, it's probably going to be the only way we can collectively get something out of EA, because EA, again, it's the two things, bro. It's the bad media and it's the threat at a loss of revenue. And right now, whether we all like it or not, and I personally know that the active users are slowly declining, it doesn't matter, because we always talk about they're getting more cost per user, $50 a day. It's like
that's why we have to hit them
problem.
in the pockets. That's why we have to hit them in the pockets, man. You have to. like that's the only place where they're going to react is there, is in the FC point section, right? We've all seen it. Even if the viewers drop, if they're just keep pushing out store packs, and every content creator is jumping to the store at 6 p.m. to have a look at the packs. I mean, we've essentially have done this to ourselves, man. Like
No,
80 to 90% of Twitch content at 6 p.m. is people in store packs doing share plays or doing FC point purchases themselves. So we just have to like almost cycle back and reset and be like, okay, understandably, quitting FC 24 and FC 25, the whole Twitch community can't do that.
No, I know.
Financially, right? That's just going to be too hard. But surely some of the biggest guys, whoever, even people that are opening promo packs, can still do well. They're still playing the game. They're still able to play the game. I mean, if you stay away from the promo packs, you're just setting a decent example. Like you said, even if people have money, right? You don't want to sit there and tell someone how to spend their money.
Yeah.
But it's okay to educate people. Be like, hey, man, even if you are happy to spend your FC points, if you have the opinion that gameplay is a disgrace, you just left a game and you were frustrated because you got disconnected or whatever, then how can you, even if you have the money, justify spending FC points? Like, you are inherently a hypocrite. You can't hate the gameplay and hate everything EA represents,
I know.
but then at 6 p.m. go into the promo packs. Like, it's insane.
Here's 100.
What are we doing?
But Nick, at the end of the day, everyone's a hypocrite in their own way, right? Like, I'm a hypocrite because I've done videos with store packs to pass. But the counter to all this shit is that, brother, people need to wake up and live in the present, right? And it's important that we all recognize what's going on. So I see no problem. There's no shame, dude. There's no shame with someone in his stream or watching this piece of content that literally woke up this morning and spent money. Or maybe there is some shame because of what's going on the last 2 days. But even Friday, like,
but they can change for tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right?
That's dude. These people that are closed-minded, that can't accept moving forward and changing, man, it drives me nuts, bro. I'm like, just move on, bro, and just
it's okay to have thought something or done something 2-3 weeks ago. Like, the human experience is shifting your mindset and educating yourself
100%.
And changing in the future. People can shift in the future, even if you open promo packs as content a month ago. That doesn't mean that you're a hypocrite now if you want to make a change.
Spot on. But I want people to understand that, bro, because it's like I'm not even trying to attack anybody specifically. Like, I hate that some of this, again, as you said, bro, a part of this, our community, dude. Listen. And this is going to be out there to any creator that has been hated on in the last couple of days, right? Our community has a lot of hatred, and a lot of the hatred, bro, is because of what EA gives out, right? So people don't like it. People are tired. People are really tired and annoyed. And the problem is the hate, and the hate originally didn't have an organized plan, and it didn't have a motive, right? So it like spread like a nasty virus amongst creators that, you know, I think there's two sides of it. I think there's people that are frustrated that certain people aren't speaking out like they should, but at the end of the day, it's the same situation. Me, Nep, you, all we can do is provide now a narrative saying, don't spend money, right? And at the end of the day, if we have viewers that watch it and they still spend $100, that's on them, right? On them. We did our job. But there's going to be other viewers that say, you know what? I fuck with these guys. I like these guys, right? Like, I hear what they're saying, and I'm annoyed as shit too. I don't like this game. So that's all we really can do, man. Like, and that's the reality of seeing the realism in this situation. All we can do is present the information. All we can do is present some sort of a plan. And you know what? If people don't want to get on board, then I've already learned a lot this weekend, you know? Like, from even just putting certain information out on the table, not everyone is going to feel the same way me and Nep even earlier were talking, like, me and him even had a couple disagreements. Was it anything with maybe overall what we're talking about doing? No, it was like smaller level stuff, but like, that's okay.
But that's
like,
okay.
Me and Nep, I'll still go out and buy him a beer. You know, it's nothing like.
I mean, even that's, I think that's maybe the maturity level of the FIFA community through the years. Like, if Nick, me and you and Nep and whatever, me and Nep have yelled at each other, actually. Like, it doesn't, but that's just what you do. Like, if you have disagreements, you've got to, yeah, well, that's what you say. But you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, it's okay to have disagreements, but we have a community that sometimes is so immature that if, like, the things that we have said right now, you've just seen it in your chat and my chat, people name and shame other content creators. There doesn't need to be that, man. No one needs to name and shame other content creators.
This doesn't need to become, and this is one of the things.
Us versus them.
Yeah, that I talked about what Nick's initial tweet had created, and it's created an us versus them moment.
Right.
Where you're either with him, or if you're not with him, that just inherently means you're against him.
Yeah.
We don't need an us versus them moment.
No.
We need we are doing this. If you want to join us,
Right.
we would that's welcome, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We want it to
You
be us
don't-
versus EA.
Yeah,
Period.
exactly, precisely, right? It's us versus, and if you don't want to join that, that's fine, genuinely fine, no problem. We'll carry on pushing, like fighting our fight, hoping to get change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
love
I
it.
listen, at the end of the day, I appreciate you guys because like I gain respect even more because I've both had respect for you guys. Like I just appreciate that you guys are willing to do it and try it, right? And at the end of the day, if none of this shit works in 6 months, like for all three of us as creators, I don't think it was anything that really hurt us, right? I think it's a very low risk situation for all of us, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that you guys are just willing to try it. And if nothing of this comes and that's all the realists and pessimistic people, look, guys, that's probably one of the more likely solutions. I mean, maybe we get what we want here. Maybe we probably don't, right? But at least we can go and, when FIFA 26 is the worst game you continuously say this year after year you've played, at least we can look back and say, you know what, in FC 24, then we tried.
Yeah.
Like,
we tried.
we really gave it our all in a way where we weren't, I don't know, we weren't rubbing them the wrong way. We were just trying to get some sort of, I'd shift this as peaceful as we can to being like, hey,
I wish we had more of a concrete message to EA, because imagine over now, like the boycotting promo packs and FC points now, we go into FC 25, our 3 communities, maybe another 10 or 20 big creator communities do the same thing. We get into FC 25. It's been now a month where we're all avoiding the promo packs. Let's say at that point, EA, maybe they now approach us saying like, look, like we need to understand what it is that you guys want and why this is such a big push. It's now actually hurt us. If someone at EA exec comes up to us, we need to then also have an answer for them, being like, okay, guys, well, are they going to accept the fact that PAX and this Ultimate Team, at least the FC point section, is open to PEGI 3, to children 3 and up? Are they willing to have that conversation? That's also kind of what scares me. I don't know.
I think that kind of conversation has to be left for the government. I don't think we're ever going to make that change. We can certainly push our narrative on to just not looking at store packs, continue the encouragement of not buying FIFA points and not spending FIFA points, which and I know you have Nick as well, but I've done that like even when I open store packs, and I know it is hypocritical, right? But even when I open store packs, I'm like, guys, don't do it. Like it's just never worth it, right?
Right.
But I don't think we're ever going to get that. Like I think FIFA points should be 18 rated, right? Like
Yes,
FIFA can
100%.
stay PEGI 3, but if you go to the store, it should come with age verification.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have
we don't
any power to change that whatsoever.
No, you're right. It's
But
like a
with-
lost cause to do that.
Yeah, but with the gameplay side of things, or even just with like holding EA accountable for errors within the game, like the menus, the rewards, like when they fuck up the 0.7% Messi.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're necessarily owed it, because they don't owe us anything and we don't owe them anything as creators either. But I feel like we deserve it for the time and money that we've all poured into this game over our lives.
Yeah.
I feel like we deserve better. And I'm sure even the guys that are a part of the EA Game Changers network that also aren't getting the answers probably feel the same. They probably feel like they just deserve a little bit better than what EA are giving. And that's the change that I would like to reach for, is just getting a genuine communication method with EA where we can say, hey, what happened with these red rewards, so that I can go back to my community and explain the answer. Even if they don't like the answer, at least they have the answer.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
I agree.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I think like a lot legal wise, there's nothing. This is where I want people to understand like what we're all talking about. Like the concept of us getting people to not spend money on this game. It's not out of us wanting to remove store packs, as much as all three of us would probably agree it's healthy to not have them. EA won't do that. The point of this is we're trying to get them to lose out on money and this constant negative attention about what's going on in this game, so that they actually will put and invest some effort into hearing what we all want within the game.
Yeah.
That's the point of all of it, because there's only 2 ways to get to them. It's media or loss of revenue. So that's what we're trying to tackle and get after. And I think it's one of those where here, just one last comment, right?
Yeah.
And then you go like, it is the goal here, is it something where are they understaffed, right? Is it like I don't know what it is, right? Because the amount of money they make, it's all these things, man. Like we shouldn't be having to reset the game every minute, right? We shouldn't have all these glitches in the game that don't get resolved ever and ever and ever. It's like what what is it with these guys? Is it the fact that they don't have enough staff? Is it the fact that, that's the question mark? It's like, that's why Nep, what he's saying is like, we really need to actually be able to sit down and talk with these guys and figure out what is the reason for the absolute laziness, man. That for me, and then you can continue. That's my largest question. I'm pretty sure the way EA do it is they kind of like contract a lot of these jobs out and outsource, right? I think that's
must be
kind of why we're seeing more errors, and maybe it's because it's maybe it's cheaper for them to do. I don't know. Maybe they're paying less employees on salaries and shit. I have no idea. But okay.
Well, okay, so to just build off what I didn't want to cut you off, but to build off what you said, I think it's fair for all three of us and most content creators, and honestly most of our community, and I'm putting words in people's mouths, so call me on it, but I think it's fair that we all don't want this game to fail. It's the opposite. We're not pushing the boycott of FC points and promo packs because we want Ultimate Team in the game mode that we love to fail, but we need to have EA give us answers. And this is the only way to get that to happen. So it's not that we want their employees all fired. It's not that we want this game to fail. It's that we want, for what they get, the billions in revenue they get, the profits they make year on year, us as consumers that give them these profits, even if it's just the purchase of the game every year, they make what is it, 1.5 billion or something they made off of game sales last year?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're running a road to glory, you're still part of them making that profit. So for what they make, us as consumers, we do not get reciprocated back anywhere near equally. That with all the card glitches, like, the special cards all just disappearing off of the menus crashing, the gameplay being slow and delayed, the servers just absolutely tanking in the evenings. All of these things are big problems.
Hundreds
of
things.
We want those addressed, right? It's not that we want them to all be fired and we all want the game to fail, but this is the only way we can do it. And what makes me sad is I feel like there's a lot of EA execs that maybe because they can't see through my harsh tone or maybe Nick's harsh tone and stuff like that, that they just hear us say, oh, EA suck and they're lazy and they're incompetent, and that's all they hear, and they say, screw that. I really wish they could just see where we're coming from. I'm okay for an 18-year-old or someone that understands how they're spending their money to put money on the packs if they can justify it for themselves when it's worthwhile, when the gameplay is crispy, when there's a skill gap in the gameplay, when you're not, breaking down 11 defenders, go to shoot and your player takes 3 stutter steps and 3 seconds to take a shot, and then the defender gets in the way anyways because of these new idiot animations.
Yeah.
Like, all these things is what we want fixed. If that stuff is fixed, I'm still not going to really tell my community to dump money on this game because there's better things to spend your money on.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say not to do it. But right now, I feel like we have to tell people not to do it because we need to force a change in those issues, the gameplay issues, the server issues, the menu issues. I know people are making fun of me when I brought up like goalkeeper evos not being addressed, but it's a small point. I'm not saying that's the most important thing. I'm just saying that all these little things are things they need to sort out. The small issues are as big as the big issues. When you don't fix the small little issues, like goalkeepers never being able to be evoed, or players getting special cards, but then like Cole Palmer getting a 88 rated inform for scoring 2 clutch penalties and they gave him 50 fucking pens. 50 pens as a stat. These little things show that they don't really care about the game. But the little things they don't care about just gets to even bigger and bigger and bigger issues, right? It just extrapolates constantly where the whole game is broken. That's problematic, man. And it needs to be fixed. And I think, honestly, the only way to do that is hit them in the wall, right? Now we're constantly cycling back. But
yeah, on the goalkeeper Evo thing, and even the playstyle pluses for goalkeepers, it's been a question since like the first few weeks of the game. When are they going to give us a goalkeeper Evo? So not just from a content creator or people that love Evos, from everybody. Why can't I Evo a goalkeeper? Why can't I put a goalkeeper in? You would think that a company like EA, and again, even if it's not the response that we want, would just pop out on that direct communications thing. Hey guys, we've noticed so many of you asking about what's going on with goalkeeper evolutions. Unfortunately, the system this year doesn't allow them to be evoed because it creates a different problem that we don't want to put into the game. So we're working on it for next year. That's all they need to say. And everyone will be like, okay, nice. Hopefully we'll get him next year. Okay, some people will be like, oh, I can't even build goalkeeper. And they'll get the shit. But they're getting the shit anyway without, with them not saying anything. So by saying something would help. And that's what that, I'm literally, I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. But that's why I think the primary goal for any movement we do want to make and any way that we want to do it, the primary goal has to be just having a discussion with EA and just being able to ask them really simple questions and just get really simple answers for it. And if that answer is more often than not, then like we just, we can't do it, or it will break something else, or whatever the answer may be. Just let us have that. Let us have that. And the sad part is, the irony dawned on me whilst Run the Foot Market was chatting just a minute ago. There, it's like we are the 3 least fucking likely people to ever get anything back from EA.
No, I know.
Right, I know.
I know.
Just the 3 most disliked guys at EA trying to make change. God bless.
Yeah, and that's not to say that other content creators haven't tried in their own ways, or in private, or in other, in other avenues. But for what we're doing in this moment right here, yeah, it's quite hilarious that like, for like me, I feel like I've got less like pull than literally anybody in the FIFA community to get anything from EA. So I don't know, man. I will happily, like I say, I would happily do, like as I mentioned earlier, Nick, I think you was watching and Run the Foot Market when I was speaking to you. I honestly think like a social push would work, and I would gladly like promote a social push every day, every title, every description to raise awareness to it. But if you have other ideas or other avenues, I'm about it.
So social push
I won't.
to.
So my idea is to like create like a YouTube channel of like, youtube.com/boycott.ea. Put up just one video depicting our problem, basically what this stream was, but in a kind of a format where it's like digestible, and saying like we want answers. And that way, when people come into your stream or my stream and they say, "Oh, what are you doing for this? You haven't done anything," I can say, "Go and watch this video." That's how we do it. That's how we get
I'm
there.
down. I think it's interesting because like I've seen a couple comments in the chat like, I'm addicted, I won't stop playing this game, and like all 3 of us would agree. We're not asked, like, that's not what I originally said with the creators. I wasn't even asking the viewers to completely stop playing. I think we're all just trying to get a hit with their money, right? It's like what we're after. You can play your division rivals and your squad battles all you want, man. Like, we're not here to really go and say you have to do that. And I don't want to. I think the realistic part about this, like, for the current stage of us starting all this, is that what I ultimately wanted is not going to be possible just yet. So I think we're going to have to start a little smaller to try to get out a message. And I think you're pretty spot on there, Nep. I think that's probably, if we could maybe just all work on a way to get something organized together that we all feel is like.
And anybody that's watching right now, because I know there's a few guys that are streaming that aren't watching, but I know there's a lot of content creators and everybody streams now watching.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of this, reach out.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna ask you that, Nick as well. Like, have you know the day that kind of everything blew up? You mentioned you had a lot of like DMs from guys disagreeing with you and stuff. But have you had guys like, are there other people that are kind of willing to
Oh no,
take part in this?
there's a lot, bro, a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Big and small,
and I think
too. Like, it doesn't need
no,
to
it
be
doesn't.
All the big dogs. It's just a community-wide thing.
Yes,
right?
I think just what you were saying, like, just because I forgot to add in on it, like, and I totally agree with what you just said. I think it is frustrating because I think us 3 are the furthest away from getting them to change. So that's why I felt disappointed yesterday, because I'm like, I feel like I'm on my fucking knees to try to get some of these people to spread the message with us that maybe do have a better rep with EA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, that's been a struggle with this, because I think that while someone like let's put it this way, while I may have more viewers and impact in the community than another person, it doesn't matter when it gets time to talk to Daddy EA. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Those people have more, at least, foot in the door than I have, which is why I would love to get them. So I don't know if this format of, us kind of creating something that we all together as a community can really agree on. I've learned over the last couple of days, like, there are creators that, I've seen it, man. Like, there's people that create content in this game that are not at the heat of where I am at with the frustration with the pure core of the gameplay. So it's okay. I think we can all agree, though, that this is not a. I don't know, guys. Do you ultimately, like, both of you, do you have a lot of fun playing the game, or do you like doing the objectives and the grind? It's not really a fun game, right?
I felt personally victimized yesterday, Nick, when you said that people that like evos and objectives.
Oh no.
Honestly, I was like, shit. I've wrote that one down. That's in the memory bank, because that one hurt to the core. That did.
Receipts, bro.
Do you know what? I do enjoy playing this game.
Okay.
For the most part. I'm not saying it's a great game or a perfect game. But like for me, evolutions are what makes me enjoy this game. And you know, like I love doing the themed and the timed RTGs, the 6-hour RTGs and things like that, because I get a real sense of enjoyment of actually building something on the game.
Yeah.
But as Nick said earlier, because it's so easy these days to actually get a real good team, it's like sometimes like the fun, you have to like create your own fun. Do you know what I mean? Because just playing the game itself isn't actually fun. But building something on the game, I find fun. I get enjoyment out of.
I love the idea of playing this game. Brother, I've spent 15 years loving the idea. We all used, way back in the day, man, when me and Air Japes used to be like run this little podcast back in 2013, we'd always have this conversation. Like Ultimate Team for me, especially when I was, well, I guess not younger, but when it started, was kind of a bridge to when I wasn't playing football, or to in the summers when football wasn't on. I'd be like, oh man, like you'd watch an old video of, you know, whatever, Leeds playing whoever and be like, no, I'm going to go create that in Ultimate Team. So the idea of like recreating the things you love in real world football in Ultimate Team is what I love. Then unfortunately you go into gameplay and you just play a 4-3-2-1 dude that just does R1 byline runs down the byline, and I want to rip my dick off. But the idea of taking a really cool built team into gameplay is what I love. The problem is, especially with FC 24, I don't find that I get that I guess return on what I expect from the game anymore. Like I go into it thinking, oh my god, I've got this Leeds player, I've got this Canadian player,
bro.
I'm gonna play some tiki-taka football, and then 5-10 minutes into the game, man, my players are all taking delayed touches. I'm being high pressed by 4 different players. I make a tackle and double bounces back to his Mbappe to run in on net to shoot through my goalkeeper. Like, so that's the problem. Is I don't know. How do you fix all of that? I just said a lot of mumbo jumbo there. I yapped a lot, but that's my biggest issue, man. Is how do we get the I love the idea of playing this game shifted into I love playing this game? I feel like that's got to be responsive gameplay, almost maybe more arcadey gameplay, right? Because realism is good, but realism is good in some places in gameplay and it's really bad in other places, right? Where your player has to adjust their body before they shoot. That's realism, but that's not good realism. That adds 2 seconds of delay. That kills a skill gap. Am I right? So it's those little things. I think responsive gameplay, you know, maybe more manual defending. These are things that would bring me back to being more excited to play the game continuously instead of, as I said a million times, the idea of playing this game. I love the idea of this game. It just never pans out on the pitch.
Much agreed. Much agreed.
Yeah, I would even also add in that, Nep, you were speaking about the draft earlier, and like, look, I think here's where people are confused, because like I think people are like, okay, so you're gonna protest, you guys are gonna basically say, hey, don't spend money, but what's your end goal, right? Our end goal is to actually get the attention of real conversational EA employees, not corporate accounts, right? Quote tweeting out, so we can really have a conversation about what needs to change. And until we get that, we're not going to stop with the whole don't spend money, right? That's the end goal, because we got to talk to them. There's so many things, right? And we're going to have to prioritize what we collectively all, you know, a huge thing for me with besides everything Nick just mentioned is like, you know, we're going on FC 25, and what we've had with the game modes, man, for the community is really like disappointing, right? The fact that we're going into FC 25, we really can't in any competitive mode play with any of our friends. Do you know what I mean? In some sort of format of champs, or, you know, whether, yes, people will argue, well, you can play co-op rivals, right? It's not a separate mode, right? And solo players hate playing 2 players, right? So why isn't it a separate mode of co-op rivals, right? Or if they want to do that, right? We don't have a casual mode because friendlies has drained our divisions down our throats with skill-based matchmaking. So that is at the one of the, you know, even with where our state of the 11 players in the box with the AI is, that EA refuses to change, which is why I'm doing a lot of this, because I'm so sick of it year after year. That's at the top of the totem pole for me too. We don't have any new things every year. I know the Evos were new this year, and that's great, but imagine how much greater the Evos would be if Nep could make his Arsenal past and present team, or try out different Evos in his almost mode that would be a similar feeling to these FUT Champs qualifiers. I'm not saying it's the FUT Champs qualifiers, because obviously the FUT Champs qualifiers is to get into the finals, but do you know what I mean by that concept? Where you could just, it's almost what we used to have, where I even felt like back in the day, you know, if EA is needing to do some sort of skill-based matchmaking mode, right? I thought the online seasons were actually a pretty decent format because even in Div 1, you were facing people in Div 2, Div 3, and so forth, and when you went lower, it was still within a 3-division range. So it was some games very sweaty, some games easier, some games just right. It was a really good balance, which is what we have with FUT Champs qualities, right? And there's so many things, guys. We can sit here for hours with the chat and talk about people's great ideas because a lot of the people in the community have fantastic fucking ideas. Half the shit I've said today, I've literally copied my homework from somebody next to me reading my chat, right? Which is such a great thing to be able to do because so many people have great ideas. The goal of all of this, what we need to understand, is being able to just enter these conversations because the issue is that we will not have other football games to play for 2 more years at all. Many of these games will be coming out as their first release and will need time. As Inception said, I think really well in his video yesterday, 2 to 3 years, right, is what we should be giving for these newer companies to see, hey, are they actually listening to us? Do they care, right? So that's still, if we were to timeline this, let's say all these other football games, 2K's working on one, goals, UFL, whatever, right? Let's say one of them is a hit, right? We're still looking at a 2026 release at the minimum for all of them, and then we're given 2 to 3 years for them. That's 2028, 2029. Will all of us even be here by then? I don't know. So that's why the time is actually now because we're stuck in a declining game with this one, and it's the only one. So unfortunately, as all 3 of us hate that we have to kind of do this to be able to talk to EA employees because, we don't even know if they are capable of helping us. It's worth the try, right? I mean, I think that's what we all agree.
Yeah.
So,
it is.
I don't know. That's probably enough waffling for me, but if you guys have any other thoughts, I'm down to discuss.
Dude, I got infinite thoughts, but the problem is like it's almost. Well, I almost feel like we need to do this like once a week or once a month, where we compile up kind of some points that we can cover, right?
Yeah.
I mean, today feels like the narrative is obviously how do we get change through hurting EA in the pocket, right? Financially to get some change or some responses from them. But we can have a day where we chat about again what as your community, my community, Nep's community, and us think are the most important improvements in gameplay. Yeah. Then the next day we can have like, okay, what are the improvements we need to see? Like the next week we can discuss what are the improvements we need to see in the reward system to both make playing the game more rewarding, right? And getting better finishes more rewarding.
I think you've made so many good points, dude. And I love Nep's idea of getting a video that's organized for people to be able to go and see. And I would say this, as brilliant as both of your minds are today, and I do appreciate it. Don't take that as a glaze, right? I think it's also important that, like, if we have other people in the community, right? Like, we have people in my chat saying, bring this guy in, right? Bring this guy. Dude, if other people want to, like, if this is going to be a weekly thing, I mean, guys, this is what people don't understand in our community, right? How many people are in my live stream right now, right? Almost 9,000 people, okay? If this is a weekly thing in our community where EA is consistently getting blasted on a podcast for all of the crap that they don't deal with, not only does our whole effort with the boycotting them making more money help, that's going to help within itself. It's influence, bro. It's at the end of the day what all of us do, right? So if the narrative of the podcast is going to be a weekly, look, we're here on this next week, and these are the new issues that have arisen, and these old issues have still not been fixed, right? What is your move, right? Because then it's more pressure where, I got to tell you, I've never seen a company hate so much when people don't like them or agree with them. Dude, these guys are so shameless that on their corporate accounts, they will block and mute people on their actual Twitter accounts, not to mention in their pro scene when the entirety of my chat is in there screaming, boycott EA yesterday. Bro, they're banning people every second. They're banning people. They're just shameless, and I can't control that. And I can't expect them to do any better because they are a company, and obviously as a company to make money, you want to be perceived as likable, right? People enjoy you, right? And unfortunately, EA don't have that rep, but the more the rep gets shoved down their throat, I think the more they're going to get frustrated, and what's his name? Andrew Wilson or whatever that guy's name is at the top is going to be forced to say, you know what? Maybe it's like the assistant manager to the manager, right? And he's like, you know what? All right, we'll send this guy to go talk to him, right? And maybe it's a whole lot of bullshit and it doesn't do anything, but as a community, it's more than we've ever had from them, right? I mean, so it's just, it's got to be known as it's a start for all of us. We've never had something that we're going to really try to come together and do this.
But this is just commenting on like your chat going into EA's chat and stuff like that. I think business wise, what I've learned as well, like through time, is because I used to be also so toxic in terms of how I got my point across. I think something maybe we should try as a community as well that might be new is, I'm not saying kiss EA's ass, but just be a bit more strategic in how we try and push for change. Because I do think we want to try and look like we're serious and look like we want to push for change. But if we're just constantly okay with our communities going into other people's chats and like spamming and abusing, we're not going to get much change because people are just going to see us in a negative light. I
Yeah.
genuinely think it's just keeping things to the point, and instead of saying like fuck EA, boycott EA or boycott FIFA points, because like a fuck EA thing is, I totally understand the passion and I've been there. And maybe now it's because I'm washed up and I'm old, so I have a different perspective on things. But I just think we need to channel our passion just in to get our point across. Boycotting EA is a great thing. Now, if we all think fuck EA and we say fuck EA in our chats and whatnot, that's great. But if we want to try and get an actual response from EA, are we going to get a response by spamming fuck EA constantly on their socials, or boycott FC points? Like, what gets the point across more? I don't know. I think a younger community is going to want to say fuck EA. I think if we want to make change, it has to be like boycott FC points. I don't know. I can only guess what our communities are. I should go click on Run the Fun Markets chat. Can I take a over under on what everyone's choice is? I know what it is, boys. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm just saying it's not a popular thing to say, but I'm saying we gotta construct our arguments a little bit better, because EA will just have an excuse, like Nick said, to block and mute us. Do we want to be blocked and muted, or do we want our point to come across? That's all. I'm all for calling them out on their bullshit, but you know, like personally attacking EA employees doesn't get anything done. It doesn't. Saying fuck EA doesn't get anything done. You want to be as passionate as you want, but that's not going to get any answers.
Yeah,
It's just the ugly truth.
which admittedly, like, I definitely could work on being a little bit more better with my deliverables towards, because I can understand at the same time when I'm saying like fuck this EA employee and shit, like obviously they're probably not going to give me the respect to want to talk to me.
Exactly, dude. You're so big. Your
But
community is so
at
big.
the
Don't
same
give them an
time,
excuse to ignore you.
I know, but at the same time, like, there's a part of me that like it's tough for me, man. It's really tough, and it's like, is it better for someone else to, like, you know, be the leader in terms of like, okay, I can be the leader in terms of getting people on board to,
Right.
but like, is it better for someone else to be like the person that's communicating the, you know, when if we get that opportunity, you know?
Yeah. Well, no, I think the problem is at the end of the day, and I hate talking like I'm defending EA. I promise you I'm not.
No, we
I'm
know
just
you're
saying
not,
on
bro.
the
Don't
other
worry.
side of it, on the other side of it is a human being, right? These devs at EA, the thing that makes me feel bad, because yesterday I said fuck this EA dev. Literally yesterday, because of gameplay and how stupid it was.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I have to think back and be like, man, this is still another person. And the problem is
Cold.
sometimes when you say this gameplay dev or that gameplay dev, sometimes they're being stopped by the C-suite or middle managers above them, right? So I'm just saying, when you have an actual human being that maybe does want to make change, come into our stream and hear me, like Nick, 28T, saying, fuck the gameplay devs, inherently they're humans as well, right?
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
going to think, well, fuck this guy. Like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm not going to listen to what he has to say. He just said, fuck me.
I think it'd be important to set up a Discord, invite everybody into the Discord to be part of this, and if this becomes a regular thing, it doesn't even have to be weekly, but even like fortnightly or just whenever it suits. First of all, that would be cool, but it would also be really important to have somebody on the other side of the fence in the call.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Just, if we want to have these discussions, we have to remember the few times we did have some EA employees Nep in some Discords and some chats like 5, 6, 7 years ago. The problem is like it was mine and Nep's fault because we didn't like police the conversation, and things got really ramped up and like it got really awkward, right? And that's the problem. It's like we still want to have these conversations, but you want to make it like so that they're willing to have these conversations with us.
Yeah.
We should still fully call out everything they're doing, and however you want to deliver it. Again, I'm just putting out my thought process. Disagree with it,
Here's
whatever.
the thing, though. We know that we can have reasonable discussion because Nick, I think he was a bit surprised when we first started chatting here this afternoon that I wasn't like ripping your head off, like
me,
because
no,
he was
dude,
like,
no,
because you had mentioned like, look how we can actually disagree and yet still have a discussion and have a
Yeah,
debate.
but that's because I know you're mature, bro. Like,
Right,
that's how a
so if
conversation's
EA,
gonna work.
if EA can, if we again in terms of open line of communication as a way to like prove to EA that we can have a discussion, we can have these discussions with Game Changer Network people or people that just
I
disagree
agree.
entirely with the process and actually come to some resolutions. Even if you disagree, you can come to some resolutions with it and then prove to EA, hey, we are good for a chat. We're not just going to sit here and blast you. We're not going to give you those hardball questions that we know you'll just be like, well, I can't answer that, so I might as well disappear. We want to have a discussion. You know, we want to chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys make a point about like, listen, I'm gonna just call it the honest way how it is. Like, it's definitely important for all of us to be professional if we want to get that end goal of what we want. At the end of the day, I you know, I can't really necessarily control if my entire chat is, you know, wants to do what they want to do. Like, I could tell them, you know what I mean? But like, it's important for us.
No, they should have the freedom to do.
That's what I
they
mean.
want.
Like it's okay if they're going
should.
crazy. Like, but
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
for us to be able to talk to them, we're gonna have to not be that way. Otherwise, they're not even gonna entertain us.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's my take, at least. And
No, you don't want your community to change their
No,
the way they
no.
operate and the way they act. No, that's chill. But I'm just saying for knowledge perspective that we may be also shooting ourselves in the foot doing that. I feel like I kind of screwed my legitimacy for a long time because I was almost just too rude in the way I had
towards
discussions.
EA.
Yeah, I genuinely think that kind of hurt the discussion narrative going forward. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well,
too, right?
I mean,
I'm
I
okay
don't
to be
think they've
wrong.
even ever listened to me because of like the tone that I've necessarily like portrayed. Even though pretty much probably everything you and I said was true.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, no,
like
for
I
sure.
think that they like. I can understand it, dude. You know, like I'm at EA, I'm an employee, like I'm making the most money ever. Like I'm seeing these idiots like calling me this and that, which I mean, it goes from incompetent to fucking donut, right? All over the place. I probably wouldn't want to help that person either. I'd probably actually prefer to watch them suffer and bleed on the football pitch, but that's
Well,
just
that's
me. So
yeah.
I would agree that we probably have to work on a way to
It's just we're not going to do
yeah.
ourselves favors if we can't even talk to EA,
Yeah.
right? Like I hope that they'll be listening to this and there's some EA dev guys listening to this because I guess at the end of the day, like the synopsis here for today's discussion is we just want an open line of communication so we can start getting across to EA what should be fixed or what we would hope would be fixed through gameplay, through servers. Brother, like the problem is for me, and I think a lot of people in my chat, I'm not going to roast your chat, Nick, or Nep's chat, but a lot of us are just uneducated on the coding of the game and how servers operate. So I sit there and cook EA on Friday when the servers and the gameplay is delayed, but maybe there actually is an answer for it. Now, I don't think any of us will be happy with the answer because it probably comes down to the fact that they're just not willing to spend enough money on more servers, right, to give us better gameplay.
Yeah.
But just knowing why the servers are so bad at any given time in gameplay would be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. We all just sit here and complain, and then we make these like, at least for me, uneducated guesses about why the servers are bad.
I mean, listen. The bottom line is like exactly what we're trying to carry out here. They make less money, and you know, over time as well, with how it's trending, their active player count is slowly going lower. So there's gonna have to be some sort of change with that. I mean, that's at the end of the day all we can do, right? Is try to continue to promote that. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's all we can really do, probably, to even like gather the attention. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they're underfunded? One of the this is now I'm gonna spin you guys off.
Meaning
into
what?
Just the
Like
dumbest rabbit hole. But like underfunded. Okay, underfunded is not the right word. But do you think their resources are limited? Like, do you think they don't have as many dev employees and as many content employees? So do you think that's part of the problem too?
Yeah, the EA Sports team itself is really, really small. And, you know, I try to explain this to my stream all the time. Like, EA, Electronic Arts, make a lot of money. EA Sports do not. EA Sports, they make EA a lot of money, but they're not like some massive corporation themselves that have infinite funds and infinite resources. They are a team of people on probably not minimum wage, but they're probably not making like huge money, and they're under intense like pressures to hit deadlines and whatnot, and they probably have a list of bugs that is 1,000 long, and they have to prioritize them, and there's only and they're already probably working on FC25 and maybe even FC26 already. And so it's like there also has to be some like realism in understanding what is an appropriate change for this game or what's got to be kind of like spoken about with this dev team for what we could do for the next game or the game after, if that's the one. And I know that's not like, again, that's not what people want to hear. They want this shit changed yesterday. It just won't work like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's sad because it revolves to me around just higher chases for profit, right? But what can we do?
Yeah.
It's frustrating for sure. I mean, that's obviously one of the things that all of us would want to come out of it. The fact that if they had, I mean, that's the only explanation for everything that's not been patched and what goes wrong day to day with, guys, we could say something every single day that goes wrong. I could be wrong. Did I not wake up today and see everybody was tweeting about the servers being down? I don't even know if they're still up, right? I saw that this morning. Did they not release the icon content at 6 a.m. the other day, right?
Yeah.
Like instead of 6 p.m. So it's just outside of all of the shit that is wrong to the core of the gameplay, the menu's not working. It's like the live content is a fucking mess. Some days it's good, some days it's horrendously off, right? And then some days it doesn't even release properly, or XYZ doesn't work. So it's like, it's one of those where, is there a way out of all of this that like there's some way for I mean, it's like, dude, the crazy part to me, right? Let's say just like a last thing here, right? These whatever lightning rounds, whatever you want to look at, right? I mean, it's frustrating because we don't know the ins and outs of how much is going to EA Sports, how much is going to EA, but you would have to think at some point, man, a huge realistic fix for a lot of this is actually if there was more employees working there, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, but how much of that can we even control? And it's frustrating because we see it from the side in the community of like, dude, how much money is being made on this game for how bad it is? Like, it's like, it's a lot of money. And it's like, the problem is they are still in such a comfort zone, right? With like how much they're making. Yeah. And it's like, that's why I'm like, I think the only way we can even start any of this to get, I think all three of us probably agree that like, this franchise has seen its glory days for sure. Whatever you want to argue, whatever year it ended in, whatever you want to argue what year it started going down, I don't see us ever getting this game back to the parts of the game that were fun and good and addictive for the right reasons, right? Not the wrong reasons, which what we have right now. It's not probably ever going to get back there, so it's probably not realistic to expect it to. But I don't think some of these solutions we're asking for are anything insane, man. I think it's all like, even if it is a 10 dev team, right? To have somebody really invest some time into a new game mode, to have or two, right? We've been dealing with the same stuff. You were even talking about Bates has been wanting draft different for 8 or 9 years. I mean, there's other sides to it too, where a lot of us, the crazy part is, are we the lunatics? We're not lunatics for asking for new game modes on a game we're having to buy every year. Are we even lunatics for the fact that they haven't even changed draft in 9 years? That's like an in-game mode core change, right? That should be easier than even making a new game mode, So it's one of those where like it's both sides to it make sense. Like we are being real and asking for stuff, but at the same time, is it like, because of the way these guys chase profits, is it only possible for us to start to receive some of what we're asking for if we hurt them financially? Which we will learn a lot. We will be able to see that if we can stay strong, guys. Doing this for 1 week, and I'm talking to my chat about this, not even you two. It's not going to do anything, right? In the long run, if we just sit here for 1 week and then everybody goes back to their old habits, we're really going to need, like, I would say, half a fiscal year to see, reflection wise, with the data, how does it look? What did we impact? Because I would like to just say this, right? Let's say someone posts a video with let's just talk about the store packs. Let's say somebody posts a video. Let's say I post a video, right? And it gets 150,000 views, right? And it's one of those 700K packs. It's $50, right? And let's say out of the 20 or 30 I open, right? There's $1,000 on that video deposited right on EA. Let's say like 20 of those packs, right? Let's say like 6 or 5 are good, right? And they're really good. They're crazy. If I have a video that has 150,000 or 200,000 viewers, right, watching that video, I don't want to run the numbers with you guys and start throwing out numbers, but I would say it's going to convince a healthy, and a healthy to me is 5-10% to probably go buy the pack. That is a lot of money, right? So especially when they're releasing packs that are the price of the game. I mean, this is big league money they're releasing for these packs. And sometimes there's 2 available. And like the argument is like, oh, well, you as the creators are the only people that can afford them. Like, first of all, that's not true. And if it were true, you guys would be really surprised as the viewers how many people will not even really be able to afford something and use dad or mom's credit card or use money they have in their savings on pixels that are going to expire in 3 months. So it's like, it's just about educating people that if we really are going to want to change, we're going to have to stay strong for a while with like, don't fucking spend money on this game. Like, it's just what it's going to have to be, because at the end of the day, that's the only way we're probably all going to be able to even have the chance at hearing something out of them. That's...
Well, convincing people to move away from the promo packs and FC points shouldn't be our stumbling block, because anyone with a brain or anyone with money or anyone that has worked hard to earn their money should be questioning their opening of an FC point pack or a promo pack when, I mean, right now, dude, whether or not they have a small or big dev team, the fact that console players have the game crash on them more than once a day is a disgrace, bro. The fact that they crashes what, Nick? 5, 10 times? I'm on PC, so I don't really know.
Dude,
but
it's
I've
like,
seen people complaining that it's crazy.
I mean, dude, unfortunately, I like choose to suffer in the gameplay this year when I play this game more than the menus, because when I go on the menus, it doesn't work. I literally avoid it now because I'm like,
Right.
I can't even use the menus anymore.
That's
you know?
a fundamental base part of the game.
It's crazy.
Bro. That it's 8 months into the game cycle and they haven't fixed that. That right there should have even the biggest money spenders, even the biggest content creators that spend FC points every day at 6 p.m. should be hearing what me and you just said there and thinking, you know what? Oh my God, it's 8 months and console players can't even play this game consistently. We should all move away from FC points until EA at least come out and say, hey guys, we're working on the broken console and gaming experience where the game freezes. Like that's so basic. I don't care how small their dev team is. That is something that should be top of the list to fix. Top of the list. How is this still going on? And if anything, it's worse now. It just gets worse.
It's getting worse. And it's infuriating, and it's not fair. And you know what, chat? Like, what we're after today, dude, whether you agree or not, bro, don't be one of those people, man, that if people are like deflecting or not agreeing with what we're saying, bro, let them do that, but don't be that person that's like running with the narrative that all this stuff is really not that bad. You know, like at the end of the day, all three of us in this call have the perspective that yes, this is a fucking video game. Yes, there are wars and real fucking problems going on in the world. We all know that, right? But that doesn't take away from the fact that what we're dealing with on a game we all love is very bad, right? It doesn't matter. So when I keep seeing that one, I'm like, okay, so you're still sitting on your ass doing nothing about it. So we're at least gonna try, and I hopefully even if you don't agree, you can have somewhat of a respect that we are just getting off our ass trying. I don't know, man. Like that's just my take. I know it's a video game, but don't be stupid. The video game is continuously getting worse in a lot of ways. So there needs to be an intervention with them and say, look, man, you know, that's what it is. So I don't know. Anyway, Snap, anything or?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I mostly agree.
Okay.
I think, not even mostly agree. I agree entirely.
All right.
Can I make this one point too? Because I think, Nep, I'm sure you'll be able to build on this. I think for me, I do feel a bit guilty being so happy to be part of this conversation with you guys, because like 99% of my content is a no money spending Poor Man Road to Glory.
Yeah.
So for me, this push away from promo packs and FC points as a content creator is easy for me to stand on my high horse and say I'm not going to do it, because fundamentally my content has never been that. What I would genuinely love would be for, I mean, you guys to maybe have someone on nowadays. I don't really know who does. I don't watch FC content really anymore. So I think Otzio or Haber or some of these guys all, there are like mainly promo pack content creators. I'd love to see.
It's great though, because Ozio,
because it's going to hurt them.
Ozio literally came out and said, like, from what I'm understanding in my chat, that he's not even going to post videos or do it anymore. And then I saw Nate said he's not going to do any more share. That is ballsy, but that's like gain of respect, and that's really good because, dude, we're not going to get everyone, you know? Like, I 100% know there's nothing I can do with certain creators to convince them to not do it. But other creators, man,
income, right?
What?
If it's their income stream, it's hard to convince someone
Nick,
not to.
in a way, but in a way that also really frustrates me because I think it's really cop-out, to be honest. I think at the end of the day, if you're an FC creator, maybe you're getting a little boost of views off that, but you're still able to pull views if you're a larger creator in this community with coming up with different ideas and content, right? And like, you know, I think I'm really happy that Ozio made that decision, because Ozio is the guy on YouTube that gets the most views in our community right now for pack specific content, the most, right? And with his content, if you look at his channel, he gets similar amount of views posting rewards, posting the new player pick. None of us in this call have any issue with the fun gamble of FC with the coins and the SBCs. It's the best part of this game. It's the most fun. and I'm excited about that because it's one of those where his channel doesn't even need it, right? And it's huge because he gets so many views. So it's like from all of this of what we've already talked about this weekend, the fact that there are other people that are like, hey man, let's try it, right? It's like it's good. So
yeah,
I know what you're saying.
I just feel the money hit might be hard. Someone will be sitting there like, oh yeah, it's easy for Nep and Run the Fun Market and Nick to talk about this because they're so heavily on Road to Glories and it's so good. But I think EA have kind of played a crazy chess move on the community where they've gotten some of the biggest content creators now fully invested in 6 p.m. pack content, where again it does make this movement hard. But that's EA that's played that chess.
I know, but and it's also going to be up to the viewer, man, to work on not supporting that type of content, because if that type of content is starting to not be supported, right? And yes, obviously there's going to be casuals that look up stuff and see search views. If that content is not highly viewed as it was, that's also going to be important, because maybe then the creator that's not willing to do that initially is going to say, hey, maybe I'll just do it because it's not even crazy business anymore. That's another part of the whole side of it. But that's going to be impossible. I do think there are some people that are unfortunately just severely and wickedly addicted, man, to doing that. I personally wish they would, if they had an addiction like that, obviously I want them to get help. But at the same time, I wish they would just gamble on sports or do something else, because at least they would have a chance. This game, you literally put your money into this game. You never see it again, right? The argument of the usage of it, you get to enjoy the player or whatever. Okay, great, right? But then what happens with FC 25? It's all gone again. So, and it's not even like we're not even playing a game like CSGO where you're gambling, you get a knife and you can sell it, right? You can't sell anything in this game. You can have 30 million coins right now. Whatever, players' accounts, I mean, you could sell it. Are you going to make a fraction of what you even spent? No, dude. No, dude. If you spent 20, 40, 50, 60, $80,000 and you went to go look and sell your account, you'll make, if you have the best account in the game, a couple thousand. A really good account, 1,000, a few hundred. So, it's one of those where that's also ultimately really frustrating.
It's a tough conversation to have.
It's tough, man.
A lot of people can't accept that. I know.
It's tough.
True. It's true. It pains me, man, especially when it's like the younger audience that are doing that, where it's so easy to just pop $100 on FC points and you don't see it, you don't feel it, and it doesn't feel real until maybe at the end of the month when you see your Visa card statement. And not a lot of people will admit it, man, but I guarantee you there's probably in the thousands in Nep's, yours, and my stream, and maybe other people listening that have viewers that have had that moment, man, where they're just like, I'm throwing $100 on. I'm throwing $100 on, and they can't even afford that, but they'll do it anyways because maybe they saw someone else's pack get opened and it was big, and they almost just push back the depression by 30 days to when they see their Visa card statement. And that makes me sad, man. People won't admit it. Your chat, my chat will troll, and the TikTok generation with squirrel attention spans will just joke about stuff. But how many thousands of people have those moments, that addiction moment? That needs to be discussed, man. It really does, and we got to try and move away from it. It's okay when the game is good and we have our answers. Again, I don't think any of us are against content creators ripping promo packs and doing whatever, at least when the game's fundamentally good.
Hallelujah.
That's fine. But when it's not good, why are we rewarding EA with thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a week in microtransactions?
So spot on.
It's ridiculous.
Nep, I want to make sure.
I hope.
If you want to add anything, I mean, if you don't, it's all good. I just want to make sure we're all.
No,
I've been talking way too much.
I do think we've.
I feel like we've tackled a lot, man. I think anyone would be brainless to watch any part of this conversation and say that we're at least not trying, and we are trying to form some sort of organization here to have a plan going forward. I think,
mate, off stream in the next coming days. Building a plan out.
No, we need to work on having something. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
You guys think like a bi-weekly kind of powwow, just to kind of see where it's at or where our thoughts are, improvements? Have we seen improvements from 2 weeks from now, from today's date?
I think first of all, I think it's fair to say that EA have already noticed a little bit. I know if unless my chat was trolling me, Bateson's already spoken to EA in today or yesterday, and is going to be making a video, which means this is already on their radar, which is already fantastic, right?
Yeah. Huge.
So I think just making sure like once a week I think, or every 10 days, but just making sure that we get perspective of lots of different people, and having just keeping the awareness up. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't have to necessarily drill it into people 24 hours a day every single day, but making sure that there's, and that's why I like the idea of like a social push, is because then it's like you can just constantly refer back to it, right? Rather than having, because I now know, leading up to the 6 p.m. content, I know I'm just going to get 3,000-4,000 people join my stream that haven't got a clue about this chat that we've just had, and the questions are going to come in about the chat we've just had. So it's it's about keeping that momentum up, and just like spending the next few days to see what happens. But yeah, like just what we've listed out here, focusing on driving those points home, and making sure we can keep having these conversations, and keep the awareness up. And honestly, like for me, one of the biggest things right now is just keeping it civil, man. Because
I agree.
I think like this weekend, man, I could tweet about fucking anything, man, and I was just getting heat, and I'm like, man, every content creator is going to be getting heat if they're not part of it, and that's not fair on anyone, right? Nobody should feel kind of like bullied into being a part of it, or if they just inherently don't agree with the overall principle, they should not be like singled out for that. So yeah, I think the thing that's just is overwhelming in terms of like a feeling of disappointment, even though I feel like this has been a great chat, is I feel like it will lead to nowhere. I am happy to try and push and press. I just know, they're a behemoth, man. Like they're just so big. I'm just concerned. Like the biggest fear is like they just won't give a shit.
Well, just to counter that, I would say from a business perspective of EA, I think that look is a little too pessimistic for me, because I'm like, I don't think EA are wanting to open up Twitch around right now, which is around their content release, and there's someone with X amount of viewers talking about how fucking wrong this game is, right? So I think that the importance of it is that you just mentioned the thing with the Bateson thing, like talking to EA. Clearly, bro, there's going to be a level of EA as a business do not want this narrative continuing, right? So I just think it's important that we try to continue the narrative, right? Because I think that constant aura, that's even more than the aura of people not liking this game. It's a continuous aura of like more efforts to not spend money, more efforts about how we aren't getting any change, right? And dude, listen, guys, I'm happy to go around, dude, and fucking do interviews, man. If it's gonna take that, like if you guys think like you want me to try to go out and like talk to the media about stuff like this and get some actual publishing going, like I'm not talking about like New York Times, but I'm talking about like interview journalists on the internet and shit, or like, guys that have YouTube channels, guys that have Twitter content. Like if that's what it's gonna be to start to get, at least, because we're after the attention here, right? That's the motive, dude, of us telling people to not spend money. If it's going to take like that, where, they're starting to get strays more into like the more community outside our community about, like, oh my God, there goes EA getting ripped a new one again. These guys suck, right? Like everyone, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like if you guys go on Google and stuff, like EA don't really care enough that they are the worst company in the world with video games, because they make so much money, right? So that's also the other side of it, that EA have probably the worst reputation, in gaming communities. Like pretty much everybody will tell you, even from Apex, people will tell you from the outside, like they will just laugh when they think of EA. I mean, even the stuff that happened with the Battlefield, like all this, right? It's just EA. EA is going to always EA. So for us, it's like, I feel like we're all being very realistic, and we know that the changes are not going to be anything incredible, but it's more just like, hey, can we make a dent in the revenue to have the initial conversation? Because it even feels like from what I have heard in the grapevine, dude, like the EA content creators, we could say, that are like the affiliated ones, had more communication than they have now in the last year or two. Like I don't even know if those creators have had the same level of like connectivity that they used to have. So it's about trying to recover that. I don't know if we're not having stuff like this anymore because of like what had happened with previous community managers, but these are all questions that we don't even know the answer to. So
I mean, speaking of like interviewing, Nick, I would love, you've got such a massive audience and such an ability to like just chat with people, and Nep as well. Like if you two were to just bring in someone else other than my washed up ass, like the other side of the argument, whether it's Bateson or
I think
Odzio or Inception,
I think
or
Andy would be a great person to have on
yeah,
because
AJ,
Andy's a
like
very good
whether we
speaker as
have
well.
disagreements, it would be great to see other people's side of the argument and have just a constructive conversation about, okay, what is the disagreement side of things, and maybe us three get a perspective on the other side, seeing, okay, well, what are we not looking at the right way?
Well, the worry for me is that you with that, we've already learned that I think some people don't agree, right? So I don't know what more is going to come for that, because I feel like it's getting deflected. The realities of what we're giving out are not being fully agreed, and in ways being deflected. So I'm like, okay, if I bring on these people and talk to them, I personally just feel like they'll get even more abuse, right? Like that's my take, because I think if I bring in Andy or Bateson, right, my whole chat is just gonna rip no matter what they say. So I feel like it's just for them at this point, it's a lose-lose. So I'm like, I'm happy to do that. I'm not scared to talk to any of these guys. I know we see it all very differently, but is anything actually going to come from that? Is that going to get me closer? Are those the guys that are going to get me closer to being able to talk to EA? I don't know. Are they closer to EA than me? Yeah.
Yes.
But, you know, is that...
I just think your chat should be able to open up and open up their perspective, so that you can have a adult conversation with Bateson or an adult conversation with Andy, because it will benefit your community and our understanding of maybe EA's side of things. Genuinely, I believe that. Maybe our audiences don't want that or don't think they want that, but with you running the chat, I genuinely, as in the conversation, I mean, not you policing your chat, you running the conversation, we might get a lot of different perspectives on, again, what we're not seeing. I just think it's good. This is what I don't want, and I'll kind of stop my yapping from here, but
Sure.
I don't want the three of us to just get in our echo chamber of what we think is righteous.
Absolutely.
Because you just see that everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
It's all over Twitter. It's in each of our chats. Each of our chats are just cooking every other person. I don't want that, man. We're older. We've been in this game for a long time. It's important to have every single person's voice and thought process spoken, so we get better understandings. We don't want to just be stuck in what the three of us think. Oh, you have to run a road to glory. You have to whatever. We just want the game to be better. We want the ability for Otzio or Bateson or AA9 Skills, with AA9 Skills being like a top-level game player, or Otzio with promo packs. I think this community deserves to have every content creator feel justified in how they want to make content. How broken the game is right now, it does not feel justified for anyone to be promoting spending money.
No,
on this game.
that's where I totally agree. But I'm like,
so that's the conversation I'd love for you to have with Andy. Be like, Andy, that's what we disagree with right now, man. The game is fundamentally flawed. How can we then sit there in front of our audiences and be okay with spending money and inspiring them to spend money on microtransactions when there's so many wrongs with this game? You're basically just saying, EA, good job. This game is a mess.
I know,
job.
but that's where I'm like struggling, because I'm like, I already went out and tried with that sentiment, inviting everyone, and I was denied. So I'm like, I understand the perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, I can only speak for myself, right? I can't expect people to have the same care or level of need for something like this, right? So am I going to waste my own time hearing a perspective that I already understand? And I'm happy to be an adult. I'm not going to be a Twitch chat and omega low when somebody's telling me that, you know, all this, like, that's not what I'm going to be after. But is it a waste of time for me, dude, like, to even entertain it? Because why am I going to convince someone about something that someone doesn't even agree with me? Like, and that's okay, as we said. Like, you know, the motive for me would be that those guys have closer connections to EA, right? So if EA are too lazy or too scared, right, to enter into saying, hey, let's just try to talk to him, am I gonna have to go through those guys to start the conversation? Like, do I use those two or whoever it is, right, that works with EA to go and try? I don't know, because like I know that a lot of people are like, you don't need to convince them, you just need to hear their side. Like, I've spoken to Andy in DMs. I understand his side. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think we've me and him, I've seen what he feels, and like, look, at the end of the day, it's like, it is what it is. It's no hate to any of these people. I just want to be objective about the plan forward, and I want to include, as you said, and what Nep was saying about like getting some sort of formulated plan. I mean, obviously we have the plan of like this promotion of don't spend money, right? We have the plan of like, we're going to be going through and we'll figure it out off stream, bi-weekly, whatever it is, right? To go through and talk about things. but I want to be as objective and strategic as possible, and I welcome anyone. I'm not excluding anyone. I'm not saying just because I'm talking to you two today. We started talking today because both of you guys wanted to talk to me and talk about stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, join in and talk, right? I'm already hearing today that Nate wants to talk and Ozzy wants to talk. Bro, whoever the fuck wants to talk about the objective of getting this in motion, that's great, right? I understand the other side that people don't maybe agree, but I don't want to sit here and like waste my time convincing someone or hearing someone that is not going to want to join with the idea of maybe not spending money for what the game's play is, because maybe they don't necessarily at the end of the day just agree, right? Like I've already seen a couple creators today on threads on Twitter saying they don't feel like when the gameplay is responsive, it's that bad. Okay, end of story. Are they at the North Pole and I'm all the way on the opposite side of the world of them with an opinion? Absolutely. Will I send them abuse and will I tell them that they fucking suck? Not really, dude. No, I won't do any of that, right? I'm just going to sit here and try to objectively move forward with how I'm feeling. That's just what it is. Yeah. Like, and I probably should have said South Pole.
What Nep said. What?
Sorry, that one I wasn't thinking about, but
it just makes me sad, man, just like seeing your chat and my chat move and other content creators reacting to what we're saying right now. Why is it always everyone needs to be against everyone? Why?
No, it doesn't have to.
Why can't we? And I'm not saying the points you're making. I'm just saying how the chat's on. Chat's like, oh, you know, this creator's watching you guys and he cooked you for saying this. Why are we cooking anyone? Like, can we not just have these conversations? Why does everyone have to be at each other's throats? Boys, we are losing when you're constantly pitting me and Nep and Nick's chats against other content creator chats. EA wants us all to be infighting. This is how
what
this
they
game
want,
got
dude.
this fucked.
Just leave. If anyone is so fucked. And if it's like, if someone doesn't agree, just leave them out of it. No hate. No, like, let them. Dude, you got to let people breathe. You can't be like, I'm seeing today on Twitter today, right? I'm seeing on like AJ's and Shauna Games' posts, people are sending them Indeed links, like here's a link to Indeed and go get a new job. Like, bro, that's so not solving anything, man. All right? No. It's not that level, dude. We just got to move with the people that want to do this. We just got to move with us, man. And whoever else wants to join, bro, this is an open thing, man. I'm not asking you guys. I know I look like some crazy conspiracy theorist on Saturday, like, don't play the game, don't play the game. As much as I would love to sit here, we all are not, or maybe we are playing the game and we have a black screen and we're just like, yo, EA, talk to us, right? Is that the most logical situation? No, we're trying to give the most open, strategic way forward, which is let's just do this, like, inherent promotion that we're not going to spend money and until right, and it's like it's not necessarily cause and effect, but it's like until we get, you know, what we are looking for, which is a conversation it's a conversation for an effort to improve the game, right?
But doesn't everybody want the game improved? Even creators that are making money off of promo packs and whatever. Can we all not leave our opinions aside where, I think that Road to Glory and no FIFA 1 is the only way to play. That's my opinion. It shouldn't be the truth. It's just my opinion. But similarly, a content creator saying, no, I think dumping money on promo packs and building God Squads, that's the way I want to play. We should all be able to have those opinions. That's fine. But coming together and agreeing that there's fundamental issues with the game, why are we so divided on that? Once again, that's how EA keep winning. Is because we have, like, all of our chats are just roasting each other for what? Because we all should want the game to be better and expect the game to be better. There's so many fundamental flaws. The boycotting, the problem is the vehicle to get a conversation about the fundamental flaws of the game. At least I think the only way to do that is to hurt them in the wallet. If someone like Otzio or Bateson or anyone else, Kurt, for God's sake, if someone has another thought process on how we can get EA to talk to us and work on fixing the issues with the game, we should all be ears. Yeah. If there's other ways to do it, I don't know if there is.
It is mad how intense it has to become,
right?
To just get just to get a response. Do you know what I
mean? It's nuclear, like, bro. The chat is freaking nuclear right now.
No, I don't mean from the chat. I mean from us as content creators. And even from the guys that are in with EA that still don't get responses. Like, it's crazy how intense it has to get a response from this company and to get some answers from this company, right? It's just crazy because no other company does this, and it blows my mind that we're sitting here, like, literally, like, I feel like we're trying to put the world to rights so that we can get rid of, like, some drop back AI and a corner technique, and it yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Yeah. I mean, and like, just to the opinions of both of you, right? Like, I just want, like, our community needs to stop, because I, to the fault of myself, just started this whole narrative with like a lot of disorganization. So, I mean, guys, like, at the end of the day, I think what I proposed was not what I necessarily requested. You know, I was like, okay, maybe we'll try this, right? And that wasn't the way. But guys, we can't be people in here that are like, you know, doing our weekly cups and our division rivals and then going in chat saying, why are you playing FIFA? When if we literally had a face cam of your Twitch account, you're sitting there playing FIFA, right? So that's not the way forward, man. Like, it's not going to happen that way, you know? And like, that's where it's viable. Like, I personally can make my own decisions with my fatigue and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to have to be just, we're going to have to just try to financially, like, what do you guys think? Just have that motive to start with.
Dude, it's a conversation, brother. Unfortunately, the saddest part is we need to get you or Nep on a conversation with some of the EA devs and just start getting answers. Yeah. How do we get to that point, right? I think it's got to be in some way doing things respectfully to get their eyes and their willingness to have a talk with you. But again, a simple understanding, bro. How is it that the meta, the one meta, is something that lasts all year? Is that an offensive conversation to have? Can we not sit there and just have a conversation with some of the devs and be like, surely you have an answer as to why it's just ultra defensive AI, why it's just stacking, every formation stacks the midfield, and the only way through is playing out wide consistently. Why do you guys stick with that? Can we have an understanding as to why you don't work a little bit harder every couple of weeks to readjust the meta so tiki-taka becomes viable? So whatever other ways skilling becomes meta. Like, why are they not willing to adjust the gameplay meta? That's another conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things
there's
that
so many,
be
bro.
So crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many.
Chat about this. I would love for you or Nep to be able to have that inside chat publicly with an EA dev about it, because I don't think that's going to be too crazy. I don't think that's going to cause too much issue to have these chats, and maybe we'll get an understanding about why the meta is always the same. Is it a coding problem?
Yeah.
What's the answer? It's all guesses.
I do hear that Nate wants to join or run the foot account. Not run the foot account.
Sure, you guys want to keep chatting?
However, I'm going to have to dip because I've got to go and load up some FIFA points for the 6 p.m. content.
Word.
Cold, dude.
Cold, Nep.
No, but I need to go and get prepared for...
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
And whatnot. But I'm down to do this anytime and with others, and I'm, let's chat off stream and...
All right, yeah, we're going to have to. And then...
And see what we can do.
Yeah, maybe all right, cool. All right, no worries, guys.
Nicky, do you want me out of here? You want to just chat with?
I mean, how long have we been chatting for? I mean,
it's been a long chat.
Yeah, maybe like if different people want to chat this week, like I'm happy to have the conversations in the morning, and I think we should just work on getting a plan in motion off stream too about something. I mean, going forward,
in the mornings, if you ever want to have a chat,
I'll probably spend a lot of this week for anyone that wants to.
If you ever want me in there, I'm there to kind of happy to be part of it, or not. It's all good, whatever you need.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably spend a lot of this week like just trying to hear out some people that want to talk in the mornings before I get to doing my own stuff for this stream.
All right, my man.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for the chat, man.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you kind of running it and trying to push for change, man. It doesn't go amiss. We'll get change. You got this.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Take it easy. Laters.
All right, easy.